Chapter 643. Han Miaoshuang's eyes lit up when she heard that there was food. She immediately corrected herself. We've been refining for the entire day. It's almost dawn now. Let's rest and eat something. We'll have the energy to continue tomorrow. The food they ate during the day was so delicious, so the barbecued meat must be good as well. Thinking of barbecued meat, she felt like she was about to drool. Sima Yue looked at her greedy face and laughed, saying, "We can't cook in the courtyard now." "It's all right, I have a place." Han Miaoshuang smiled mysteriously. Half an hour later, the two of them arrived at a valley. This place is not bad. Sima Yue looked at the quiet valley. It was a good place to eat secretly. Where is this? This is the mountain behind the academy. Usually very few people come here. I used to come here whenever I wanted to eat. Han Miaoshuang said. Why are we here, not at your place? Sima Yue took out the tools to barbecue the meat, and Han Miao's eyes widened. In the past I used to cook in the courtyard, but after Xiao Xiao came, I rarely ate. You know, he's a neat freak. If I make it too dirty, he'll fly into a rage. Just like what happened this morning. Han Miaoshuang said helplessly. After that, I often went out to eat. Sometimes when I wanted to do it myself, I couldn't just find a random place. After all, there were quite a few students in the academy. That's why I came here. This place is not far from the school. Aren't you afraid of being seen by other students? Sima Yue asked. No. Otherwise, I wouldn't have chosen this place. Han Miaoshuang said with certainty. Senior sister, are you so sure? Of course, the academy's forbidden area is just a little further away, so very few people come here. Those who came were all unusual people, so they didn't dare to tell anyone that I was eating here. Otherwise, isn't it obvious that we've been to the forbidden area? Han Miaoshuang said with a smile. When she saw Sima Yue take out a lot of meat and put it aside, she said in surprise, Yue, why do you still have so much meat on you? I used to hang out with my brother and friends. I always liked to cook. Sima Yue smiled. They're so lucky. Han Miaoshuang said enviously. Since we've been together all the time, everyone knows how to cook now. I'm not the one who cooks every time, Sima Yue explained. Then are they also good at cooking? The craftsmanship is indeed not bad. But there are only a few who are good, and the rest are just assistants. Then bring them over to play next time. Han Miaoshuang said with a smile. Sure. Sima Yue agreed readily. It was good that Beigong and the rest knew her. Great. In the future, when you don't have time, you can find them to make food for me. Han Miaoshuang clapped her hands. It was decided. Sima Yue felt like she had accidentally sold them off. Senior sister, since you like to eat so much, don't you know how to make it? I only know how to roast meat. Han Miaoshuang said. So every time I hunt, I come here to roast meat. The others won't. What about when you want to eat it? Let's eat outside. I used to look for food everywhere. Later on, I opened Memory Restaurant, and I often go there to eat. I even got a membership card, and I get a discount every time. Han Miaoshuang said happily. Little junior brother, have you eaten at Memory Restaurant before? If you haven't, I'll bring you there next time. Sima Yue saw how excited she was, and wondered if she should tell her that it was hers now. Senior sister, why do you like to eat so much? She took out a metal skewer and started to skewer the meat. Han Miaoshuang came to help, and her movements were very practiced. Actually, it's a shadow from when I was young. Han Miaoshuang said. At that time I was only 10 years old. I didn't reach the stage where I didn't need to eat. Once, I was locked in a small dark room for 7 to 8 days. I didn't eat or drink. When I came out, I was almost dead. At that time, I was so hungry that I couldn't let go of the hunger. Even if I didn't need to eat later on, it was still the same. So later on, I liked to eat. Every time my stomach was stuffed to the brim, I felt so happy. Sima Yue saw the smile on her face and could understand how she felt when she was young. She also understood why she liked to eat so much. Senior sister, do you often go out to eat? That's right. Memory Restaurant is the place I go the most now. Han Miaoshuang said, but although we have a few more chances to go out than other students, and can go out once a month, it's still not enough. so I can only do it myself. But I really want to eat Memory Restaurant's food. What does senior sister want to eat? Braised lion's head. Saliva chicken. Han Miaoshuang answered without thinking. Then you don't want to eat barbecued meat? I do. Han Miaoshuang said. Barbecued meat can be eaten now. Braised lion's head and saliva chicken are what I want to eat. Sigh, it's a pity that there's still a long time left. I don't know how long I have to endure before I can eat it. But now that you're here, I don't have to eat barbecued meat all the time. Sima Yue skewered the meat. The charcoal on the barbecue rack was already burning, and the rack was hot. She placed the meat skewers on top to barbecued, then placed all the seasonings at the side. Little junior brother, you have so many seasonings. I only have half of yours. Han Miaoshuang said. If you want the food to taste good, these seasonings are indispensable. Sima Yue said. I'll give senior sister some later. Okay. Han Miaoshuang nodded quickly. As time passed, the aroma of the barbecued meat slowly spread. Seeing Sima Yue placing the seasonings one by one, Han Miaoshuang felt that her saliva was about to flow out. Sima Yue placed the barbecued meat on a plate. Han Miaoshuang couldn't wait to take the plate over. She picked up a skewer and smelled it, saying, Little junior brother, you smell so fragrant. It'll definitely taste better when you eat it. She tore the meat off in one bite. The boiling temperature made her exhale uncontrollably, shouting that it was so hot. Senior sister, no one will snatch it from you tonight. Eat slowly. Sima Yue picked up a few skewers of raw meat and placed them on the rack. Then she started barbecuing again. At the same time, she took out a piece of meat and onions, ginger and garlic. She turned the barbecued meat twice before chopping it. Then, she looked at the time and turned the barbecued meat again. After Han Miaoshuang finished the barbecued meat in her hand, she saw Sima Yue chopping the meat and asked, Little junior brother, what are you chopping meat for? Making braised lion's head. Didn't you say you wanted to eat it? Sima Yue said. You know how to make braised lion's head? Han Miaoshuang exclaimed. Yes, Sima Yue said. You turn the barbecued meat. I'll take out the chicken and stew it. You're not going to make the spit? Han Miaoshuang felt that she was too blessed tonight. Who's there? Sima Yue suddenly shouted towards Han Miaoshuang's back. Han Miaoshuang also felt that someone was there. She turned around and stared at the shadow not far away. Chapter 644. Sima Yue put down the things in her hands and looked over there. Who's sneaking around? She and Han Miaoshuang didn't act rashly, because they could feel that the other party's strength was higher than theirs. They waited for a while, but there was no movement. However, they didn't dare to lower their guard because they didn't see anyone leave. Sima Yue rolled her eyes and stopped looking there. She said to Han Miaoshuang, Senior sister, it's time to add seasoning to the barbecue. Oh. Han Miaoshuang passed the barbecued meat to Sima Yue. She picked up the seasoning at the side and started brushing it. The aroma immediately spread throughout the valley. After roasting for a while, Sima Yue placed the roasted meat on a plate and said, Senior sister, here you go. Han Miaoshuang took the plate and brought it to the side to eat. Sima Yue wasn't in a hurry to continue roasting. She took out a jar of fruit wine and threw it to Han Miaoshuang. Han Miaoshuang opened the seal, and the aroma of wine and spirit fruits wafted out. Wow, it smells good. Han Miaoshuang hugged the wine jar and took a sip, sighing in satisfaction. Little junior brother, how did you get Memory Restaurant's fruit wine? Because I'm the one who brewed this. Sima Yue took out a processed chicken and put it into the pot. She added some water and covered it properly. Then, she lit a flame at the bottom of the pot and left it there. Han Miaoshuang wanted to ask more, but Sima Yue gave her a look, so she swallowed her words and said, Little junior brother, this wine goes well with the roasted meat. It feels so good. Can you roast some more for me? I'm not grilling tonight. You can finish those skewers, Sima Yue said. Me too. As soon as her voice fell, a tender voice floated over from the shadow just now. Then, a small figure rushed over and sat beside Han Miaoshuang, snatching the plate in her hand. Han Miaoshuang looked at the little girl sitting beside her and was stunned. Who are you? Sima Yue did not expect that the one hiding there was actually a little girl. Looking at the way she wolfed down the food, as if she had not eaten for hundreds of years, her heart softened. Eat slowly, don't burn yourself. Woo woo. The little girl ignored her and only lowered her head to eat the barbecued meat. She did not feel that the barbecued meat was hot at all. When she was done eating, she raised her head and looked at Sima Yue. Her gaze told her that she wanted more. No more. Sima Yue understood her gaze and pointed to the raw meat that had not been roasted yet. If you want to eat it, you have to roast it now. You roast it. The little girl bared her teeth and said, or I'll eat you. If you eat me, no one will cook for you. Sima Yue said. Then I won't eat you. You roast it. The little girl put away her fierce look and turned into a cute little doll. But I don't know you. Why should I roast it for you? Sima Yue teased her. The little girl tilted her head and thought for a while. Suddenly, she took out something as thick as a forearm and handed it to her. I'll use this carrot to exchange with you, okay? This is a carrot? Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This was obviously a 1,000-year-old crystal ginseng. I don't know what it is either, but it's similar to a carrot, so I called it a carrot. The little girl said. Many people wanted it at that time. How about it? I'll use this to exchange with you. You roast meat for me. Sima Yue saw her pure gaze and suddenly felt that she should not tease her. Keep this for yourself. I'll cook for you. She touched the little girl's head and said. The little girl wanted to bite her because of her action. But when she thought that if she bit her, there would be no one to cook for her, she controlled herself. Exchange. She stuffed the crystal ginseng into Sima Yue's hands. She did not want to take advantage of her. Sima Yue placed the crystal ginseng in her hands again. This thing is very precious. You'll be at a disadvantage if you use it to exchange for food. I only have this. The little girl said. Take it. I have a lot more. You have a lot of this. Sima Yue and Han Miaoshuang were surprised. I don't have many of these carrots. But I have other carrots. The little girl said. Then can you show me your other carrots? Sima Yue asked. You don't want this? The little girl thought for a while. She thought that Sima Yue did not want this. She took out a bunch of rare herbs and placed them on the table. Which one do you want? Choose it yourself. Sima Yue saw the things she took out and said in surprise. Why do you have so many herbs? I found them myself. There are so many in this mountain. I can find a lot if I go out. The little girl said. Do you want this? Why do you have so many herbs? Sima Yue pressed her hand back, indicating that she did not want her things. To eat. The little girl said as she took out a crystal ginseng and took a bite. Then she spat it out. It doesn't taste good. You eat this. Han Miaoshuang widened her eyes. Yes, I used to eat this. The little girl said. Then she complained again. It doesn't taste good. You barbecued meat for me. I'll give you this. Sima Yue looked at the little girl in confusion. She did not know who she was. She could swallow the herbs directly and not be hurt by the strong medicinal effects. She thought that she was so young and had more power than her. She thought that she was a transformed spirit beast. But she did not feel the aura of a spirit beast. So she was not sure. What's your name? Little Seven. Little Seven, you play here with Sister Miaoshuang. I'll make braised lion's head for you. Sima Yue said. Braised lion's head? There's no lion here. Little Seven looked around. She did not see a lion. There was not even a lion's fur. You'll know in a while. Sima Yue reached out and scratched Little Seven's nose. Oh right, junior brother. I haven't finished talking. How do you know Memory Restaurant's unique dishes? Han Miaoshuang thought of the question that was interrupted. Now that she mentioned the braised lion's head, she thought of this question again. Because I taught them. Sima Yue continued to deal with the ingredients in front of her. You taught them? Does Memory Restaurant belong to you? Not really. It belongs to a friend of mine. I taught him these dishes. Later on he opened Memory Restaurant and used these dishes. Sima Yue said. But the Memory Restaurant in Heavenly City belongs to me. Next time, when you go to Memory Restaurant to eat, say my name and it'll be free. Haha, it's really yours. Han Miaoshuang cheered happily. Next time when I go to eat, don't ask for money. The things you have there are so expensive. Chapter 645. Sima Yue smiled. Go, I won't charge you. All right. Sima Yue thought for a while, then took out some spirit fruits and placed them in front of the two of them, saying, Eat this first, the food will be ready soon. All right. Little junior brother, your spirit fruit is so fresh. Han Miaoshuang happily picked up the spirit fruit to eat. Little Seven didn't say anything, and just took a bite of the spirit fruit. She's big sister. Why do you call her little junior brother? Little Seven bit the spirit fruit and asked. Sima Yu's hand paused, and Han Miaoshuang forgot to bite the spirit fruit that was in her mouth. Little Seven, what are you talking about? I'm a man, Sima Yue said with a smile. You're not. You're a woman, not one of those stinky men, Little Seven said with certainty. Those men all stink, but you smell good. You must be a woman. Little Seven won't make a mistake. Little junior brother, are you really a girl? Han Miaoshuang looked at her in surprise. Will you keep it a secret for me? Otherwise, there won't be any food left, Sima Yue admitted. Heavens, you're really a woman. The spirit fruit in Han Miaoshuang's hand fell to the ground as she looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. Seeing her wink at her, she quickly nodded. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Little Seven, what about you? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. Will you always cook for me? Little Seven asked in return. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. This little fellow was threatening her. I don't have that much time to prepare food for you, Sima Yue shrugged. Just cook for me when you have time, Little Seven said. Okay, Sima Yue smiled. Since you've promised me, don't let the cat out of the bag, brother. Seven said. What? Han Miaoshuang turned to look at Little Seven. Then it's settled. Sima Yue understood what she meant, and went to cook for the two of them without worry. Sima Yue quickly made lion's head and saliva chicken for the two of them. Seeing that the two of them were still hungry, she roasted the rest of the barbecued meat for them. Seeing the two pairs of green eyes, she went to make a beggar's chicken and a large portion of diving rabbit for them. Only then did the two of them barely eat enough. Sima Yue looked at the two of them rubbing their stomachs with one hand, and helplessly looked at the direction of the forbidden area. It seemed like she couldn't achieve her goal of treating Han Miaoshuang to a meal tonight. Brother, do you want to go to the forbidden grounds? Little Seven asked when she saw Sima Yue staring at the forbidden grounds. Big brother has been looking over there, Little Seven said. If Big brother wants to go, Little Seven can bring you there. You're taking me there? Isn't the forbidden area forbidden? Sima Yue asked. TSK, why can't we go there? I saw a lot of people going there. Little Seven pouted. You saw people going in? Han Miaoshuang asked in surprise. Yeah, a lot of people. Often there are a few waves in a night. Little Seven said casually. Little Seven, how do you know? Because I often watch here, Little Seven said. But recently there are fewer people coming. How did Little Seven see it? I often look for food here, so I saw it, Little Seven said. Then do you know who went there? I don't know. Some of them went in and didn't come out. Some came out and some didn't, Little Seven said. But I don't care who went in. But if Big brother wants to go in, I can help you. Little junior brother, do you want to go to the forbidden grounds? Han Miaoshuang asked. I don't want to go. I'm just curious about the forbidden grounds, Sima Yue said. I don't know what good things there are in the forbidden grounds. Han Miaoshuang wasn't suspicious of Sima Yue's words. She smiled. There's nothing good in the forbidden grounds. Senior sister, you know about it? Sima Yue asked in surprise. Hee, I went in with master once and saw the things inside, Han Miaoshuang said. Are there a lot of treasures in there? Sima Yue asked. Those treasures aren't that rare, Han Miaoshuang said. Some of them aren't as good as master's. I heard that there's an Eye of Earth in the forbidden grounds? Sima Yue probed. Eye of Earth? What's that? Han Miaoshuang asked. Senior sister, you haven't heard of it? I heard that many people in the sect know about it, Sima Yue asked. Han Miaoshuang shook her head. Don't think that us three brothers have been in the inner sect for a long time. We don't know many things about the sect. The Eye of Earth isn't in the forbidden grounds. Little Seven suddenly said. You know? Of course, is there anything in the sect that I don't know? Little Seven raised her little face proudly. I often wander around the sect. I've heard a lot of things. It's just that I don't like those people, so I don't like to be with them. You're from the sect too? Humph. Little Seven snorted. Sima Yue smiled. This proud little girl. Brother, you want the Eye of Earth? Little Seven's expression was a little strange. Seeing that Sima Yue was silent, she patted her chest and said, Brother, if you want it, Little Seven can get it. You? Han Miaoshuang turned her head and looked at Little Seven. What idea do you have? Why should I tell you? Little Seven ignored her and turned to look at Sima Yue. Brother, do you want it? I want it, but the Eye of Earth is definitely hidden in a very hidden place. It's also very dangerous. How can I let you go? Sima Yue sat beside Little Seven, looking at her crystal clear skin. She couldn't help but stretch out her hand and pinch her nose. I'm very powerful. Little Seven slapped away Sima Yue's hand and said. I know Little Seven is very powerful. Sima Yue said. But you're still young, I'll think of a way myself. Brother, what do you want the Eye of Earth for? Little Seven asked. My brother's health isn't good, he needs a little bit to heal. Sima Yue said. How much is a little bit? 8 ounces. Sima Yue said. Only 8 ounces. Little Seven heard it and heaved a sigh of relief. It's not even a caddy. It won't hurt the Eye of Earth. How do you know? Sima Yue rubbed Little Seven's head. Of course, no one in this world knows the Eye of Earth better than me. Little Seven said proudly. But you're not allowed to take the risk. Sima Yue said. Why? Little Seven didn't understand. Because you're still young. I'll think of a way myself. Humph. Little Seven saw that Sima Yue didn't believe her. She pouted unhappily. You should just stay in the sect and cultivate. Sima Yue pinched her little nose again. Little Seven turned her head away unhappily. She thought to herself, wait till I bring it to you. Let's see if you still dare to look down on me. Chapter 646. Little Junior Brother, if you need the Eye of Earth, you can try it with Master. Han Miaoshuang said. I'll ask Master. Sima Yue said. But I'm not in a hurry, there's still time to check. Humph. Little Seven snorted coldly in protest. Seeing that Little Seven was still angry, he patted her head and got up to put away the pots and pans. All right, it's getting late. Let's go back. You're right. It's time to go back. Han Miaoshuang stood up as well. All right, little guy, go back quickly. I'm not small. Little Seven snorted. Sima Yue and Han Miaoshuang prepared to return to Parting Garden. Little Seven saw them leave and followed them. Little Seven, you've been out for an entire night, right? Aren't you going back? Sima Yue asked. Let's go together. Little Seven grabbed Sima Yue's clothes. Together? Do you want to go back with us? Little Seven nodded. You're not from our courtyard, you can't go back with us. Han Miaoshuang said. Yes. Little Seven grabbed Sima Yue's hand and refused to let go. She was determined to go back with her. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at the little hand that was grabbing her, then looked at Han Miaoshuang and said awkwardly, Senior sister, why don't we? Up to you. Master likes you so much now. It shouldn't be a big deal to bring someone back. Han Miaoshuang saw that she was soft-hearted and couldn't be bothered. Come back with me then. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand. When the three of them returned to the courtyard, Su Xiaoxiao was already cleaning the courtyard. Good morning, third senior brother. Su Xiaoxiao was holding a broom. Seeing them come in, she smiled and said, Did you go out to eat again last night? You even know about this? We alchemists have very sensitive noses. All of you have a fragrance that wasn't there yesterday. Su Xiao said. Who is this little child? Her name is Little Seven. She might be here in the future. Sima Yue said. Master, he must still be sleeping. I'll look for him later. Little Seven, this is third senior brother Su Xiaoxiao. If you want to stay here in the future, you can play with him. No, it stinks. Little Seven turned her head. Stinky? Su Xiaoxiao smelled herself. She had just taken a shower. She didn't stink. But Little Seven still despised it. Ah, I haven't rested for so long. I'm going back to sleep. Han Miaoshuang yawned as she walked towards the attic. Little junior brother, is this little guy coming over or staying here? Su Xiaoxiao asked. What is it? If she's going to stay here, I'll have to clean up a room, Su Xiao said. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven and said to Su Xiao, let me ask Master first. If Su Jin didn't want Little Seven to stay here, she couldn't force it. Okay, Master went to bed early last night. He will probably wake up early today. Su Xiaoxiao reminded him. Got it. Little Seven, let's head back. Sima Yue brought Little Seven back to the house and gave her a lot of food to eat. She let her play at the side, and then started to take out the herbs and fiddle with it. Little Seven was a strange child. On one hand, she was cold towards Han Miaoshuang, but on the other hand, she was very dependent on Sima Yue. Sima Yue attributed this to her contract with the Spirit Pagoda, which had a unique attraction to spirits. Little Seven, how old are you? Sima Yue fiddled with the herbs for a while. Seeing that Little Seven was still eating, she walked over and took the food down. Little Seven saw that the food was taken away, and was a little unhappy, but she still answered her question obediently. I don't know how old I am. I forgot. How old am I exactly? Little Seven knocked on her head. Forgot? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven's distressed look and subconsciously thought that she was hurt and forgot about the past. Forget it then. Look at you, you're definitely not old. Sima Yue said, but I don't know your identity. You're so powerful at such a young age. Eat. Little Seven looked at the dried meat that Sima Yue took away and said, Little Seven, you've already eaten a lot. Be careful not to stuff your stomach. I'm hungry. Little Seven patted her stomach. Her previously round stomach had deflated again. You're hungry again? Sima Yue looked at her strangely. It seemed like she was really hungry. How could she eat so much? Little Seven nodded and took out another piece of ginseng. She took a bite and frowned. Then she stuffed the ginseng into Sima Yue's hand. Change. Sima Yue placed the dried meat in Little Seven's hand and patted her little head. Eat. Once you're full, you can go and see my master. She must agree to let you stay. Otherwise, you'll still have to go back to where you're staying. Little Seven tilted her head and thought for a while before nodding. When it was almost noon, Sima Yue felt movement in Su Jin's room. She put down the book in her hand and said, Master is awake. Let's go and see him. Little Seven jumped down from the chair and followed her out. Su Jin had just woken up when he felt Sima Yue coming. He didn't wait for her to knock and let her in. Seeing the 6 or 7-year-old child beside her, a trace of surprise flashed through his eyes. Why was she with this little fellow? Master, you're up so early. And I'm a bit earlier than that fellow Kong Junchul. Su Jin said. Why did you bring this little fellow here? Master, this is Little Seven. We met her last night. She wants to live with us. Is that okay? Su Jin stared straight at Little Seven. This fellow actually dared to lie to his disciple? But when he saw her hiding behind Sima Yue and threatening him with cold eyes, as if she was saying that if he didn't agree, she would eat him up, he had the intention to tease her. Good disciple, not just anyone can live in our parting garden. After saying this, he raised his eyebrows at Little Seven. Little Seven pouted and looked like she was about to cry. She grabbed onto Sima Yue's hand even tighter. She even shrunk back, leaving only her head to look at him. Master, Little Seven is still a child. You can't scare a child like this. Sima Yue glared at Su Jin. Little Seven proudly lifted her chin at Su Jin from behind. Su Jin was speechless. How did he scare a child? He had only said a very normal sentence, okay. Master, Little Seven said that she often goes to the back of the mountain to look for food alone. There's no one to take care of her. Little Seven is still young, and the back of the mountain is very dangerous. Why don't we just let her stay here? Little Seven, you won't be mischievous in the courtyard, right? Sima Yue lowered her head to look at little Seven. Little Seven immediately turned into a frightened child and nodded obediently. Su Jin saw that Sima Yue was so protective of her and felt a little jealous. He waved his hand to let them leave. It could be considered that he agreed with her. Thank you, master. Then we won't disturb you. Don't think about it. Sima Yue held little Seven's hand and left. Little Seven turned back to look at Su Jin when she was leaving. Her face was full of pride. Old fellow, don't lead my good disciple astray. Su Jin secretly transmitted his voice. That depends on whether I'm happy or not. Little Seven replied and then left with Sima Yue. Chapter 647. Sima Yue didn't know about their secret conversation. After taking Xiaoqi downstairs, she went to find Su Xiaoxiao and told him that she wanted to clean up a room for Xiaoqi next door. Where to put the things inside, Su Xiaoxiao immediately took the initiative to clean up the room. Sima Yue saw how enthusiastic he was and agreed to let him come along. Thus, little Seven ate snacks at the door and watched the two of them tidy up her house. After the house was tidied up, Kong Junchul also got up. Regarding the addition of a child in the courtyard, he only said lightly, "Don't disturb my sleep in the courtyard." Stinky. Little Seven turned her head away from him. The corners of Kong Junchul's mouth twitched. He couldn't be bothered to lower himself to the child's level, so he turned around and went into the alchemy room. Sima Yue chuckled in the house. This little brat always called men stinky. She really despised them. She decorated the room in pink, and even the bedspread was pink. When little Seven saw this, her lips twitched when she wasn't paying attention. She waved at little Seven and little Seven walked over. She used her oily hands to wipe the clean bedsheets, and the clean bedsheets were stained. Seeing her masterpiece, she grinned. Sima Yue shook her head. You don't like this color? Little Seven nodded. What color do you like? Little Seven pointed at her clothes. The azure color was just right. Sima Yue patted her head and changed all the pink things. She changed the bedsheets and bedspread to azure blue. Only then did little Seven smile happily. After cleaning up, Sima Yue sat by the bed and pulled little Seven to sit beside her. She said, Little Seven, you have to be good when you're in the courtyard. Senior brothers and senior sisters are used to being quiet. We can't disturb them, okay? Little Seven nodded. There's a formation at the entrance of the courtyard. I'll teach you how to get out in a while. In the future, you won't need anyone to bring you out. I know that you often stay outside for a few days at a time. Take this. If you can't come back, you have to tell me, okay? She placed a mother-sun stone in little Seven's hand. Little Seven looked at the mother-sun stone and didn't know how to use it. Sima Yue taught her patiently. Do you know how to find me? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded happily. She kept the mother-sun stone in her space. Sima Yue saw that she wasn't wearing a space ring and thought that she had other space containers. Little Seven, I'm going to concoct pills. Be good and play in the house. Sima Yue said as she took out some food and placed it on the table. Okay. Little Seven became obedient when he saw the food. Wine. Kid, don't drink so much. Although she said that, she still took out a few jars of wine and then went to refine pills. Little Seven was sitting in the house eating when Su Jin swaggered in. Little Seven glanced at him and continued to eat. Little Yu is so good to you. I haven't eaten these before. Su Jin walked over and consciously picked up the snacks on the table. Old fellow, say it. Why are you following my precious disciple? Try calling me old fellow again. Little Seven opened her mouth, revealing two small canine teeth as she threatened. Even if you wear the clothes of a child, it can't hide your soul that has lived for thousands of years. Su Jin wouldn't be frightened by her and cruelly exposed her shortcomings. Little Yu thinks that it's enough that I'm a child. Little Seven didn't argue with him. You're pretending to be a child to trick people. Be careful that I don't expose you, Su Jin said fiercely. I've always been like this. Little Seven shrugged with an expression that said, Go ahead and say it. You came to the academy with such fanfare. Aren't you afraid that people will eat you? There have been quite a few people recently. Su Jin leaned on the chair and took a bite of a spirit fruit. That depends on whether they have the ability. Little Seven sneered. That's true. Those who have thoughts about you won't be able to survive. You can take care of them in one bite. Su-jin wasn't worried about this fellow at all. Little Seven rolled her eyes at him. She took out a snow-white meat and threw it to Su-jin. It looked a bit like a meat mushroom. You wants this? Little Seven said. Su-jin looked at such a big thing and said, you can't even bear to part with a fingernail. Now you're giving this much to him? You're really willing to part with it. I like it. Little Seven snorted. You're so good to my precious disciple, and even gave him so much of this. Tell me, what's your motive? Su-jin put away the thing. Why should I tell you? You don't want to live here anymore. Su-jin raised an eyebrow. Little Seven stared at him for a while before compromising. He can help me evolve. Help you evolve? You haven't evolved in a long time, right? Su-jin said. Little Seven nodded with a serious expression. It had been a long time since her last evolution. He's a human. How can he help you evolve? You won't eat him, right? Su-jin looked at her cautiously. If she really wanted to eat Yue, he wouldn't agree no matter what. I'm not eating him. I just feel very comfortable by his side. Little Seven said. This can help you evolve. Little Seven shook her head. Then why do you say that he can help you evolve? Intuition. Little Seven said. Intuition tells me that I can evolve by his side. I don't want him to know my identity right now. If you let it slip, I'll scratch your face and disfigure you. Su-jin touched his face. I don't talk to people who are jealous of my beauty. After saying this, he stood up and left. Little Seven looked outside in a daze for a while before continuing to eat the food on the table. When Sima Yue came back from refining pills, she saw that Little Seven was still eating at the table. She walked over and carried her down, saying, You haven't been eating the entire time, right? Little Seven nodded. You're not full. It's delicious. Little Seven raised her head and smiled. These things were much better than the herbs she ate. Sima Yue took out a handkerchief to wipe the oil from the corner of her mouth, saying, You can't keep eating even if it's delicious. What if you get a stomachache? Oh. Although Little Seven still wanted to eat, she didn't want to make her unhappy. Yue, come up. Su-jin shouted from his room. Do you want to come with me? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven came out from her embrace and shook her head. Then you stay here. I'll go up and see what Master wants. She pinched Little Seven's little nose and said. She came to Su-jin's room and saw him lying on the chair, asking, Master, you're looking for me? I heard that you're looking for the Eye of the Earth. Su-jin directly asked. Sima Yue was stunned. She didn't know how he knew. But Gulang and the others also knew that she was looking for it, so it wasn't surprising that he knew. Yes, she admitted. Su-jin was very satisfied with her honesty. He took out a box and threw it in front of her, saying, Someone gave it to you. Sima Yue caught the box and opened it. She saw a palm-sized white meat inside. This is the Eye of the Earth. Su-jin said calmly. Sima Yue almost forgot to breathe. Chapter 648. It was rare for Sima Yue to be dumbfounded. She was completely stunned. What are you waiting for? Isn't this what you want? Su-jin asked. Master, where did you get this? Is that true? Sima Yue held the Earth's eye and could not react in time. Wasn't the Eye of the Earth the treasure of the Academy? Didn't they say that many people were eyeing this thing? Didn't they say that it was very hard to obtain? Why did she get it so easily? This couldn't be fake, right? Could it be that Su-jin used this thing to scare her? Seeing Sima Yue's suspicious gaze, Su-jin's eyelids twitched. This little brat actually didn't believe him. What I gave you is naturally real. Su-jin saw that Sima Yue didn't believe him, and was still pretending to be innocent, and wanted to kick her. After hearing his promise, Sima Yue happily kept the Earth's eye. Master, where did you get this thing? She looked at Su-jin with a smile, almost going to massage his legs and shoulders like a lackey. Someone gave it to me. Su-jin said. Who gave it to you? Sima Yue asked. It's so expensive. Not just anyone can give it to you. Should we thank them? What's there to thank? That guy was completely willing. Su Jin said. That's not good, is it? No matter what, he's still an important figure in the academy. How can we just take his things? Don't worry about her. Su Jin said impatiently. All right then. Sima Yue smiled. All right, you can leave. Su Jin chased him away. Master. Sima Yue stood still. Anything else? Master, do you know little Seven's identity? Sima Yue hesitated and asked. What is it? Little Seven looks like a little girl of a few years old, but her strength is stronger than mine. I once suspected that she was a transformed divine beast, but I didn't feel the aura of a divine beast from her body. Since he is a student of the school, I think Master should know. Sima Yue said. Yes, I do know. Su Jin said. Then whose disciple is she under? Why would they often wander around the mountain range? Why is he so powerful? Don't worry about her identity, just stay with her like this. You would know when it was time to know. That's right, that guy can't eat his fill. Give him more food, don't worry about him bursting to death. Su Jin said. All right, you may leave. Oh, all right then. She quickly went back. Although Su Jin didn't say little Seven's identity, since she said there was no problem, then there really wasn't a problem. Although she found little Seven very likable, she was still guessing her identity in her heart. Previously, she thought that if she wasn't good, then she would have to spend some time with her to see her temperament. Now that Su Jin said there was no problem, she could save this step. Thinking of little Seven, she also thought of little Tuesday. They were both gifted children. Whenever she saw little Seven, she would think of little Two from time to time. This was also one of the reasons why she liked little Seven. When she returned to the house, little Seven had already finished eating the food on the table. When she saw Sima Yue come in, she looked at her eagerly. You finished eating again. You can actually eat more than my little Meng. Sima Yue couldn't help but sigh. Who is little Meng? Little Seven asked curiously. There was actually someone who could eat as much as her? My contract beast. Sima Yue said. She's quite similar to you. She's also a little doll. I don't like her. Little Seven pouted. Little Seven, are you going to follow me in the future? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Little Seven nodded. If you want to follow me, then you have to accept the people around me. You don't have to like them, but you can't go against them. I don't like the people around me being unfriendly. If you can't do that, then you can't follow me. Sima Yue said solemnly. All right. Little Seven said helplessly. I promise I won't eat them. Sima Yue was amused by her words. She stretched out her hand and poked her forehead. She smiled and said, Why do you always say that you won't eat anything? Bad people should be eaten. Little Seven snorted and said, Many people who had ideas about me were eaten by me. But Grandpa doesn't let me eat them. But those people are so annoying. I really want to eat them. But I can't. I'm so worried. Little Seven placed her hands on the table and looked conflicted. Sima Yue found it funny. Suddenly, her expression changed. She said to Little Seven, You stay here. I'll go out for a while. I'll go too. Little Seven stood up immediately. She seemed to want to go wherever Yue went. Little Seven, I'm going out to do something. I might fight with others. Be careful not to hurt you, Sima Yue said. Although I don't like fighting, others can't hurt me. Little Seven waved her little fist. Sima Yue saw her like that. Thinking that her martial arts were stronger than her, she nodded and took her out. When they went out, Su Jin shouted from upstairs, Xiao Xiao, someone bullied your little junior brother. What? Xiao Xiao was cleaning up the leftovers from his alchemy. When he heard this, he threw his things down and came out. Master, who dares to bully little junior brother? Gah. Han Miaoshuang's door opened. A certain someone stood at the door with his hands on his hips. He shouted. Who dares to bully my little Yu Yu? They had only known each other for a day, and this little junior brother had become little Yu Yu. You'll know when you see it, Su Jin said lazily. All right, let's go take a look. Han Miaoshuang stepped out and pulled Su Xiaoxiao's clothes out of the courtyard. Sima Yue and Little Seven ran towards Sima Yuming's place. Before they arrived, They heard a commotion coming from the courtyard. Along with it, there were sounds of fighting and yelling. Hearing the yelling from inside, she quickened her pace and pushed open the door to enter. Beat them to death. Go. Oh, I told you to bow down earlier, but you didn't listen. Now you're being beaten? You want to beat us? You're not qualified. Fatty Chu punched the other party's face. Fatty, beat them up. Beat them up hard. Bei Gongtang stood at the side of the courtyard and shouted. What's so great about the Thunderbolt team? They dare to come to our place and behave atrociously. Beat them up. You dare to beat us up? Do you know the consequences of provoking us? I don't care if you're a Thunderbolt or not. Today we'll beat you up. Brothers, let's go together. This year's new students must teach them a lesson. Sima Yue entered and saw the chaotic situation. Whoosh! A person was thrown out by Fatty Chu, who happened to be flying towards Sima Yu's direction. She lifted her clothes and leaped up, kicking the person who was flying towards her back, smashing into the members of the Thunderbolt team. The chaotic situation calmed down because of this. Ma Bojian said, Today we came here to do something. Yue bro, are your friends willing to join our club? Join your club? That's right. Shuirong said, We want to ask you, are you willing to join our Cliff Mountain Club? Shuirong, is your Cliff Mountain going to fight with our Thunderbolt Club? Bian Lezheng looked at Shuirong. So what? Shuirong said indifferently. Bian Lezheng, you don't think that my Cliff Mountain is really afraid of you, do you? When your Cliff Mountain met our Thunderbolt Club, which time didn't you get beaten up? You still want to compete with us? You're really whimsical. The Thunderbolt Club members finished laughing. Now I wonder who's the one who got beaten up? Sima Yue glanced at them. We won't join your club. If you don't want to be beaten up too badly today, get out of here. Sima Yochi shouted. The faces of the Thunderbolt Club members were ugly, but when they saw that Ma Bojian brought more people, they had to leave unwillingly. When the Thunderbolt Club members left, Ma Bojian waved his hand and the Cliff Mountain Club members also left. Yue, why are you here? Sima Yulin asked. I know that the Thunderbolt Club members came to trouble you, so I came. I thought you would suffer, but I didn't expect Shuirong to bring people over. Sima Yue waved her hand, and a few scarlet bees flew down from the roof, circled around and flew away. Bei Gongtang and the others knew that since the last time they left, she had sent scarlet bees to follow them. Little junior brother, who dares to bully you? We're here to help you. Han Miaoshuang came in from the outside and didn't see anyone bullying Sima Yue. She was stunned and asked, Little junior brother, where are the people who bullied you? They were beaten up by Cliff Mountain and left. Sima Yue replied. Senior sister, third senior brother, why are you here? Master said that someone bullied you, so we ran over to see. Since it's okay now, Xiao Xiao will go back. After speaking, the two left again. Yue, your master, senior sister and senior brother are very concerned about you. They're very nice people. Sima Yue said. Why are you all here? They just came out of closed-door cultivation. I heard about your situation and came to ask Bei Gong and the others. I didn't expect that the Thunderbolt Club members would come looking for me not long after I came back. Yue, who's this little girl? She's called Little Seven from our courtyard. Sima Yue said. Everyone, let's go back to the house first. Sima Yuran said. That's true, let's not stand here. Vice Leader Ma, Miss Shui, please come in. Please. A group of people entered the house. Fortunately, the rooms here were bigger, otherwise, they wouldn't be able to stand with so many people. Thank you for helping us out today, but I'm afraid that the Thunderbolt Club will find trouble with you. Sima Yuchi cupped his hands in thanks to Ma Bojian. We've always been at odds with the Thunderbolt Club. This matter doesn't make a difference. Shuirong said. But what we said before is true. Are you willing to join our team? This. Everyone hesitated. That Bian Lezheng usually doesn't say anything good, but today he said something right. In the inner sect, if you don't join a team, your life will be very difficult in the future. Shuirong said. The other freshmen have joined various teams in the past few months. And now you're the only ones who haven't. But because of the conflict with the Thunderbolt Club, other teams don't dare to accept you. Then aren't you afraid of Cliff Mountain? We've always been at odds with them. With or without you, this result won't change. Shuirong shrugged. Why must the inner sect join a team? Sima Yue never understood this question. Because the sect's cultivation resources are limited. If you want to obtain resources in a competitive environment, the best way is for everyone to work together. Over time, the cultivation resources will be divided by the teams. Those who are unwilling to join will have to compete with so many teams with their own strength. This possibility is too small. Chapter 650. It was only then that Sima Yu understood. She saw that everyone's expression seemed to be unwilling, so joining the team was probably not a good choice. Thank you for your invitation, Miss Shui and Cliff Mountain. However, we have been in the inner courtyard for so long and have yet to join a society, so we have to reconsider this matter. Can we give you an answer in a few days? Sima Yuming said. All right. Then we'll head back first. Once you've made up your mind, just go to Rocky Mountain and find us. Shuirong stood up and saluted everyone before leaving with Ma Bojian. You guys don't want to join the club, Sima Yue said firmly. That's right. That's why we haven't joined any societies even though we've been in the inner courtyard for so long. Wei Ziqi said. What's wrong with joining a club? We heard from the new students that they would be bullied by the older students after entering the club. They would do more work and get less points. Points? What's that? Yue, you've been in the inner courtyard for a few days. How come you still don't know anything? Fatty Chu teased. Points are what we usually use for cultivation. Bei Gongtang explained. No matter what we want to use, we have to use points to exchange for it. Yes. For example, if we use the cultivation pagoda now, 1 point a day, and 100 points can only be used to cultivate for 100 days. If we want to take medicinal ingredients from the academy, we also need to use points to exchange for them. Ouyang Fei said. Then how do I get the points? Every student gets 5 points every month, and the rest depends on contribution. The more contributions one made, the more points one would receive. For example, concocting pills, refining tools, or catching spirit beasts for the academy. So if we join a club, we'll earn points together, but we won't be able to get much in the end? Sima Yue asked. Everyone nodded. I don't like that. Sima Yue said. It's because we saw that those teams were like this that we never joined. Sima Yulin said. Then don't join them, Sima Yue said. Ma Bojian and his people are nice. I don't think they will make things difficult for you. As for the other clubs, we're not even afraid of the Thunderbolt. So why should we be afraid of them? Yue, why don't we create our own club? Fatty Chu suddenly had an idea. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard this. Yeah. We can also form our own club. Sima Yue said. In any case, we have so many people, and our strength is stronger than others. Furthermore, we have alchemists, armament masters, beast tamers, array masters. We can definitely form our own team. It's possible. Sima Yulin nodded. Third bro, what do you think? Sima Yu asked Sima Yu Ran. Actually, we're not much different from a team right now. Everyone cultivates together and accepts missions together. Sima Yu Ran said. The only thing we're lacking is a name. Hee, why don't we set up a club? Fatty Chu said. I'll be in charge of refining armaments. I'm in charge of beast taming. I'll be in charge of the formation. Since everyone agrees, then it's decided. Sima Yue said. Sima Yue had been silent the whole time. She smiled when she saw how excited they were. But how are we going to set up this club? Is it troublesome? It's not troublesome at all. We just have to go to the teacher in charge of the club and file it. Wei Ziqi said. Set the time to set up the club. Name the club, leader's name and the number of people in the beginning. We just have to confirm these. It's that simple? It's that simple. So what we have to do now is to think of a good name for the club, and who will be the leader. We just have to confirm the number of people in the beginning. Yu, why don't you be the leader? Fatty Chu said. Sima Yue shook her head saying, No, anyone can be the leader. I don't want to. Why? Troublesome. Sima Yue said disdainfully. There will be a lot of things to do if I'm the leader. I don't want to deal with these things. Also, I'm not good at it. I'll just be a member. You can be the leader in name. Leave the things to others. Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue still shook her head. No, I think it's best if Big Bro, Yulin or Ziqi is the leader. Since Fifth Bro doesn't want to, don't force her. Don't we know her personality? I think she's right as well. It's best if Big Bro, Yulin or Ziqi is the leader. The others can be vice leaders as well. That's true. This guy is the laziest. Bei Gongtang looked at Sima Yue and smiled. Actually, it doesn't matter who is the leader. We're all so familiar with each other. There's no need to say who's the leader. Sima Yue said. But it's like this now. In the future, when others join in, we'll need to manage. So we still need the leader and vice leader to lead everyone. I think Big Bro Yuqi should be the leader. Ouyang Fei said. Yulin and Ziqi will be vice leaders. I agree. Sima Yue was the first to express her opinion. We agree as well. The minority obeys the majority. There are many who agree, so it's decided. Sima Yuqi and Sima Yulin had yet to speak when they were pushed to the position of leader and vice leader. Now that the leader has been decided, let's discuss the name of the club. Fatty Chu said. What should we be called? It definitely has to be more domineering than Thunderbolt. Sima Yue said. Thunderbolt Club, how about that? Wei Ziqi voiced his opinion. Thunderbolt? Not bad, domineering. Okay. Anyway, I can't think of a good name. I think it's not bad too. Hee, let's call it that. Everyone wasn't good at coming up with names. Thunderbolt was indeed domineering, so they were too lazy to think of anything else. Now we just need to confirm the number of people in the beginning. Is it just a few of us? Everyone in the sect has joined a club. Sima Yue asked. Not necessarily. Sima Yulin said. Some people have a temper. There are also people who haven't joined a club. Some clubs can't be maintained, and after disbanding, the remaining people might not have joined other clubs. There are also people in the top 50 of the billboard who haven't joined a club because they have resources provided by the sect. We'll talk about those people later. For now, it's just the 10 of us. Sima Yue said. Little Seven was originally nestled in her embrace. When she heard the number, she snorted coldly. Sima Yue lowered her head and saw Little Seven pouting. She laughed and stretched out her hand to ruffle her hair, saying, 11. Our Little Seven is also one. Which department does Little Seven belong to? Sima Yulin looked at Little Seven and felt that she was a little strange. Little Seven turned her head to the side. Let's write the alchemy department. Sima Yue said. Little Seven, you'll be part of our team in the future? Yue, what about Little Two? When Sima Yue heard Little Two's name, the smile on her face slowly disappeared. Chapter 651. Little Two isn't in the inner courtyard right now. Sima Yue said. Not in the inner courtyard. Everyone was shocked. Didn't he come to the inner court a long time ago? If he's not in the inner court, then where is he? Don't worry, listen to me. Sima Yue said. Something happened to Little Two and he was taken away by the vice principal. What happened? Little Two's bloodline power was activated all of a sudden. His body couldn't take it, but Little Two's aura is still there, which means that his life is not in danger. Sima Yue said. Where is Little Two now? Sima Yue shook her head. Director Mao said he didn't know either. We'll find a way to find out more about him after we're done with our current work. I think that since he was taken away by a vice principal of the academy and his life is not in danger, I think that he should not be in any danger now. Wei Ziqi said. What Ziqi said makes sense. I hope so. Bei Gongtang said. Then the matter of establishing the team will be settled like this. Big Bro, find some time to go to teacher's place to prepare the case. Then go and inform Shuirong and the others, in case they are still waiting for us. Sima Yuran said. Okay. Sima Yuqi replied. Then I won't care about the club anymore. Sima Yue said. I might have to go out in a few days. You just came to the inner court. What are you going out for? I've already obtained the Earth's Eye. I'm going to go out and discuss with Mr. Gu. Then I'll get Feng to come over and settle this matter for him. Sima Yue said with a smile. What? You've already obtained the Eye of Earth? Everyone cried out and looked at her in disbelief. We've been in the inner court for months, but we haven't found any information about the Eye of the Earth. You've only been here for a few days, and you've already obtained it? This is too unbelievable. Sima Yue also felt that she was lucky and said, Actually, I didn't find this. My master gave it to me. Master? Teacher Su? Yes. Sima Yue said. He said that someone gave it to him. Although I think this reason is a little far-fetched, I don't want to find out how he got it now. Anyway, it's good that he can save Feng. That's great. Once your brother is cured, you'll have accomplished something big. Fatty Chu said with a smile. Yes. Sima Yue agreed. Right now, her top priority was to solve Feng's problem. As for revenge, she needed to be well prepared later on. It was not something that could be done in a short time. Once Feng was cured, she would be able to cultivate in peace. When do you plan to go out? Sima Yuming asked. In a few days, let's talk about it after we've settled the matters of the club. Sima Yue said. And Feng isn't in Tianfu City right now. I have to contact him to come back. Thinking that Shiman Feng was about to break free from the control of that power, her mood was exceptionally good. When the others saw this, they were also happy for her. After chatting with them for a while, she left with Little Seven. This time, she was in a good mood and wandered around the sect. Little Seven, do you know the sect well? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded, then shook her head. What do you mean by nodding and shaking your head? Sima Yue looked at her funny. I'm very clear about the terrain here, but I'm not sure about those people. Little Seven said. After she formed, she often ran around the sect, so she knew every place in the sect. But she didn't like to interact with others, and didn't care about those people. Occasionally, she would hear some things from them, but she didn't know them. Let's go take a look at the sect's cultivation pagoda. Sima Yue said as she patted her head. Okay. I know where it is. I'll take you there. Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's hand, and brought her through the biggest square in the inner sect. They came to the back of a library, and a pagoda that wasn't very tall appeared in front of her. This pagoda has 3 floors below and 7 floors above. Most people cultivate from the 1st to the 4th floor. Little Seven said. What about the bottom 2 floors and the top? No one cultivates there? Yes, I heard that those with good talent are at the top, and those with great power are at the bottom. But I've never seen it before, so I don't know. Little Seven said. Then which floor does Little Seven usually cultivate on? I won't come to this kind of place to cultivate. Little Seven said proudly. Sima Yue wasn't surprised by Little Seven's words. Little Seven's power wasn't something that could be achieved through ordinary cultivation. Let's go back. She looked at the students walking around, and didn't plan to go in to cultivate. She turned around and saw a group of people walking over, blocking her way. She didn't know the others, but she had a deep impression of Xiaoqi who was hiding at the back. It seemed like the people from the Thunderbolt Society hadn't given up yet. You're Sima Yue? The leader of the group said. Sima Yue crossed her arms in front of her chest and said casually, Why Xiaoqi? Haven't you learned from what happened last time? Sima Yue, you hurt my people from the Thunderbolt Society, and you want to let it go just like that? Xiaoqi brought a lot of people with him this time, and he wasn't afraid of hiding at the back anymore. So, I don't want to continue being entangled with you guys. Find someone who can handle things, and we'll settle it once and for all, Sima Yue said. You're quite arrogant. The person standing in the middle laughed coldly. It's not about arrogance, it's about how annoying you guys are. Sima Yue said, You guys come in groups, and I don't want to waste my time with you guys. Be straightforward, find someone who can talk. How do you want to settle it? A rough male voice came from the entrance of the cultivation pagoda, and the members of the Thunderbolt Society greeted him respectfully as their leader. Sima Yue looked at the figure that was comparable to Xiao Zhao's and clicked her tongue, saying, "It's not about how I want to settle it. It's you guys who keep bothering me. Think of a solution, and let's discuss it. Don't bother me in the future, before I get completely angry. You crippled our people. It's easy to settle it. You just have to castrate yourself." The leader of the Thunderbolt Society, Lu Yuanming, said. "You know, that's impossible," Sima Yue said. "She didn't even have it, let alone whether she was willing or not. How could she castrate herself?" "Then kill yourself," Lu Mingyuan said. "That's even more impossible." Sima Yue rejected without hesitation. She hadn't lived long enough. How could she kill herself? "Then what do you think we should do?" Lu Mingyuan said. "It's actually very simple. Let's fight, and if you win, I'll listen to you. If I win, you get your people out of my sight." Sima Yue pointed at Lu Mingyuan and said. Chapter 652. Hearing her words, the square immediately quieted down. Then everyone present started shouting. A new student who had just arrived a few days ago was going to fight against the leader of the Thunderbolt Regiment, Lu Mingyuan. This news was too shocking for them. "What do you think? Do you dare to accept my challenge?" Sima Yue lifted her chin and looked at Lu Mingyuan. Lu Mingyuan looked at Sima Yue. He did not expect to be provoked by a junior. If he didn't accept her challenge today, then how would he survive in the inner court in the future? He snorted coldly. "You dare to challenge me? You've got guts." "Thanks for the compliment. I've always been brave," Sima Yue said. "So do you dare to accept the challenge?" "Why wouldn't I? There are so many people here, just nice to be witnesses. As long as you win, our Thunderbolt will no longer find trouble with you. If you lose, then obediently come with us today and tell Su Jin not to find trouble with us." "Deal," Sima Yue said. "Let's go to the arena." Once Lu Mingyuan left, the members of the Thunderbolt squad followed him. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and followed them to the arena. The people in the square were in an uproar. How many years had it been since a new student challenged a senior student? Who would have thought that they would actually meet him today? "Let's go and watch the show. Hee, I'll go inform the people cultivating in the pagoda. Wait for me. Then go quickly. Don't be late. Tell me, where did this new student get the guts to fight Lu Mingyuan? Don't underestimate this brat. Before he came to the academy, he castrated Hong Fei's disciple, and then beat up all those people who went to catch him. I think he must be walking the path of body refinement. Such an arrogant freshman." "That's right. Do you think you're invincible in the inner court just because you've beaten up a few people? Since she dares to provoke the older students like this, it won't do if we don't give her a good beating today. Hee, if she loses, I'm afraid it won't be just a matter of being beaten up. She has an agreement with Lu Mingyuan. Go, let's go and watch." In the cultivation pagoda, many people paused their cultivation when they heard that Sima Yue challenged Lu Mingyuan, and went to the arena to watch the excitement. In a few rooms on the third floor, some people were disturbed by the movements below. Thinking that they had been cultivating for so long, they came out together. As for Sima Yuming and the others' courtyard, Tuoba Yen hurriedly ran back and said to Bei Gong Tang and Wei Ziqi, who were talking in the courtyard, "Quickly go to the arena. Yu and Lu Mingyuan are going to duel." Bei Gong Tang and Wei Ziqi were not as flustered as Tuoba Yen expected. Instead, they looked at her calmly and asked, "You fought with someone?" "Don't worry, she won't do anything she's not confident in. Let's go and have a look." Wei Ziqi went in to inform the others. When everyone heard that Sima Yue was going to duel with Lu Mingyuan, no one was worried about her. Instead, they were all very interested. Yue is up against Thunderbolt's leader? Looks like she's planning to settle this once and for all. It should be. Let's go take a look. I wonder how badly Yue will beat him up. Just take a look and you'll know. Tuoba Yen saw how calm they were and said in shock, "Aren't you worried about her? He's an expert ranked 60th on the Wind Cloud leaderboard. 60th place? How strong is he? An advanced spiritual grandmaster. Then there's nothing to worry about. Yenner, let's go take a look together." Bei Gongtang said with a smile. Seeing how calm they were, Tuoba Yin Air's worries disappeared. Sima Yue must have found a way to deal with them. When they arrived at the arena was already filled with onlookers. Sima Yue and Lu Mingyuan were standing opposite each other in the middle. As soon as they found their seats, they heard the people around them discussing Sima Yue. Look, that freshman's rank isn't displayed. They must have used some method to cover it up. Although it's rare, it's still very rare. That Lu Mingyuan is an advanced divine overlord expert. That freshman looks very young. No matter what, she can't be his opponent. That's not necessarily true. A voice behind the two questioned. I think that this brat might be able to win. Everyone turned around and saw Tang Yin sitting in his seat. He was holding a fan and pretending to fan himself. He had a smirk on his face. Mo Bin sat beside him and did not comment on what he just said. Tang Yin, do you think that freshman will win? The person who spoke just now asked. I only said that it's possible. Tang Yin said. Tang Yin, you guys are always in closed-door cultivation. That's why you don't understand the current situation of the academy. That Lu Mingyuan is only one step away from breaking through Divine Overlord and becoming a Divine Emperor. This Sima Yue is a freshman who just entered the inner sect recently. I heard that she also entered the academy this year. She looks very young. How can she be stronger than Lu Mingyuan? Looking at her age, I'm afraid that she hasn't even broken through Divine King. You don't trust my judgment. Tang Yin said. It's just that what you said is too impossible. I believe that she can do it. Tang Yin did not care about what these people thought. The two on the stage were his main focus. Sima Yue looked at Lu Mingyuan and said, Make your move. Remember that if you lose, don't let your people appear in front of me again. Arrogant brat. Today, I'll make you obediently follow me. Lu Mingyuan said as he began to condense his spirit energy. A fire whip quickly formed in his hand. Sima Yue's movements were not slow either. Her raging flame slash had already been used to perfection. When the fire whip came, she immediately slashed down with her blade, cutting the fire whip in two. One half was held in Lu Mingyuan's hand while the other half fell to the ground and dissipated. You're a high-level divine overlord. Lu Mingyuan looked at Sima Yue, who easily cut his fire whip in half, and said in a low voice, That's right. Otherwise, how would I dare to stand here with you? Sima Yue waved the large blade in her hand. Young people aren't just impulsive. I didn't think that your strength would be on par with mine. It's a pity that you think you can beat me like this. Brat, next time before you make a decision, you better understand your opponent well. Although Lu Mingyuan was shocked by Sima Yue's strength, he had never met an expert of the same level. He shook his fire whip, and it turned into tens of small blades, shooting toward Sima Yue. He immediately followed the fire blades and laughed. I'm not an ordinary spirit master. Other than spirit masters, I also walk the path of body refinement. Today you've met me. You're definitely going to lose. He saw that Sima Yue easily blocked his fire blades without any reaction. These blades were just a cover for him. He punched towards Sima Yue's stomach. However, he was forced to stop when he was a few centimeters away. Chapter 653. Lu Mingyuan looked at the small hand that was holding his fist. He looked up and saw her smiling eyes. I'll return your words back to you. Next time, you better understand your opponent before you make a decision. I'm not an ordinary soul master. Other than soul master, I'm also a physique refiner. Today you're definitely going to lose. Sima Yue said with a smile. She then used her strength to twist Lu Mingyuan's hand around. Then, she waved her right hand and punched him, knocking him to the ground. Sima Yue immediately followed up. Unexpectedly, the other party was not slow either. Although he took a punch, he quickly turned over and dodged Sima Yue's next kick. At the same time, he stood up. The two of them once again faced each other. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Sima Yue cautiously. He didn't expect that he would be defeated so miserably in this round. Not only was her strength equal to his, she also walked the path of body refinement. Moreover, she was better than him. His advantages were useless in front of her. The people in the audience were also stunned by this result. She actually injured Lu Mingyuan? The way many people looked at her changed. At this moment in their eyes, she was no longer a freshman, but a strong opponent. Humph. Residential area. Come out. Lu Mingyuan snorted and considered Sima Yue to be on the same level as him. He did not intend to hide his strength. Since he could not defeat her quickly with his spiritual power and physical strength, he would use his partner. Hiss hiss. A huge python appeared in the arena, occupying almost the entire arena. Its bucket-thick body stood beside Lu Mingyuan. One man and one beast were quite compatible. A third-level sacred beast was considered a rare contract beast among ordinary people. Do you think that you're the only one with a sacred beast? Seeing Lu Mingyuan's proud look, Fatty Chu and the others on the viewing platform said contemptuously. Tang Yin glanced at Fatty Chu. Although he didn't recognize Fatty Chu, he recognized Sima Yuran and the others beside him. It seemed that this group of people were with him. Chongming, come out and play with the little snake. After Sima Yue finished speaking, a Chongming bird appeared in everyone's sight. After Chongming came out, the python on the opposite side immediately shrank back in fear. Chongming, be careful. Don't let them kill you. Sima Yue said. Chongming flapped its wings, grabbed the python, and took it into the air. Lu Mingyuan was stunned when he saw his python being taken away. Captain Lu, it's very dangerous to be in a daze at this time. Sima Yue reminded him kindly. If you have any other tricks, you'd better use them now. Otherwise, don't say that you didn't try your best later. Lu Mingyuan was choked by Sima Yue's words. He steeled his heart and called out another sacred beast. The last time he returned to the clan had secretly made him contract it. No one else knew about it. It was a preparation for his goal of rushing into the top 30 in the 3 great conventions. Who would have thought that he would be forced to reveal it in advance today? However, compared to exposing his strength, being defeated by a freshman in front of so many people was even more unbearable. This Lu Mingyuan actually has 2 sacred beasts. He hid them well in the past. Tang Yin commented as he waved his fan. Looks like he's preparing for the 3 great conventions. Emobin opened his mouth. I don't know what she'll do. It's not easy to deal with Lu Mingyuan and his sacred beasts alone. Tang Yin said. She's not panicking. Emobin looked at Sima Yue and believed that she had her own way. Sima Yue looked at the second sacred beast and smiled. 1000 Resonance, come and play with him. I'll say the same thing again. Don't kill him. 1000 Resonance came out with its 8 tails wide open. It did not give the opponent a chance to be surprised as it pounced forward. 6th Captain Lu, are there any more? Lu Mingyuan looked at the smile on Sima Yue's face and felt that it was extremely dazzling. He condensed his spirit energy and attacked her. Sima Yue flew forward, and the 2 of them fought from the ground to the air, and from the air back to the ground. It had to be said that Lu Mingyuan still had some fighting power. With the 2 of them attacking together, Sima Yue was unable to take him down. The audience was stunned by the dazzling battle between the 2. The members of the Thunderbolt Club saw that she could actually fight with their captain for so long, and felt a chill in their hearts. It turned out that she had really been merciful to them before. Although the others saw that they were evenly matched, Lu Mingyuan knew that he was not having an easy time. He had already used all his strength, but the opponent was still holding back. Pung! Sima Yue kicked Lu Mingyuan's body, causing him to fall to the ground. When he got up, a long sword was already placed on his neck. You've lost. Lu Mingyuan unwillingly lowered his head, indicating that he had already admitted defeat. Then you must remember the agreement and restrain your members. Sima Yue said as she looked at the people below the stage. The members of the Thunderbolt Club subconsciously shrunk their necks when she glanced at them. They thought that the opponent was easy to bully, but they did not expect that she was someone they could only look up to. She took back Ling Long, turned and walked down the stage. At the same time when she stepped down, Lu Mingyuan's 2 sacred beasts were beaten to his side. There was no danger to their lives, but they looked very dispirited and were beaten badly by their opponents. Yu, Bei Gongtang and the others had been waiting for her at the exit. I think the members of the Thunderbolt Club will not dare to trouble us openly. You have to be careful of what they do behind our backs. If we set up a club, the target will be bigger. Sima Yue said. Don't worry, with your battle today, they won't dare to do anything to us. Sima Yuqi said. Let's go back. I'm hungry. Little Seven didn't like so many people and grabbed Sima Yue's hand. Okay. Sima Yue lowered her head and smiled at her. We have been out for a long time. Our little Seven is hungry. Let's go back. Big brother, we will go back first. The matter of establishing the team will be handed over to you. Don't worry, Sima Yuqi said. Little Seven, let's go. We won today. Let's go back and make delicious food for Little Seven. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and nodded to everyone. The others also went out one after another, leaving some people behind thoughtfully. Did you see clearly just now? The child beside Sima Yue, is it really her? Tang Yan forgot to fan himself with the fan in his hand and stared blankly at Sima Yue's back as she left. Emobin also felt a little unbelievable, but he nodded affirmatively. You didn't see wrong, it is her. How did Little Seven get together with Sima Yue? And it seems that Sima Yue doesn't know Little Seven's identity. She doesn't know now, but she will know soon. Emobin said. I believe that the 3 conventions will be very exciting soon. Chapter 654. However, this liveliness was blocked outside the parting garden's array. The moment they entered the parting garden, all they saw was a quiet courtyard. You're back. Su Jin was fiddling with herbs in the courtyard. When he heard the footsteps of the two, he didn't even raise his head to ask. Master. Sima Yue bowed to Su Jin. Is it done? Su Jin put down the medicinal ingredients and asked. Yes, it's settled. Sima Yue walked over and saw Su Jin's herbs. She said, Master, some of your herbs are not ripe yet. I can see it. Su Jin glanced at her. But you know some herbs are best used when they are not ripe. When I'm not mature. Su Jin picked up a green peach-like fruit and said, Look at this Bodhi peach. After it ripens, it can be used to refine restriction-breaking pills and so on. It has a wide range of uses. Even if it's taken directly, it can clear one's heart and guard one's nature, increasing one's divine sense cultivation. But do you know that if this thing is picked before it's ripe, its medicinal properties will be the opposite, and it can confuse a person's mind? I didn't know it had such an effect. Sima Yue took the Bodhi peach, looked at it, and smelled it. Indeed, it did not have the comfortable fragrance of a ripe peach. Instead, it had a slightly bitter taste. That's not all. Su Jin said with a smile. Among these medicinal herbs, some of them have better effects when they're not mature. Some of them have opposite effects, and some of them are similar, so you'll have to spend some effort to understand them. Things in this world will always pop up when we think we understand them. Sima Yue nodded and agreed with Su Jin. This world was vast, and no one could say that they had everything under their control. I'm hungry. Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's hand. Little Seven is playing with Master in the courtyard. I'll go make some food for you, okay? Although Little Seven didn't want to be with Su Jin, seeing how Sima Yue treated her like a child, in order to not make her suspicious, she could only nod obediently. Sima Yue walked a few steps before she realized that there was no kitchen. She took a detour and went to the backyard. The open space there is large. Su Jin waited for Sima Yue to leave before he continued to fiddle with his herbs. Little Seven walked over and stuffed a herb into her mouth. She even commented, These things of yours are all so low grade. Eat one of mine. You have to pay me back. Su Jin stretched out his hand. I know you have a lot of radishes. Just give me 2 of them. In your dreams, those are my food. Little Seven wouldn't give her things to Su Jin. You humans are all like this. Only a silly person like you wouldn't want my radish. That can't be. She's so silly. Your radish is a good thing, and she doesn't want it. Su Jin felt sorry for Sima Yue. This fellow should have more radishes as much as she could. Humph, look at you. My Yu is a good person. She doesn't want these things. Little Seven looked at Su Jin with disdain. Su Jin automatically ignored her disdain. My silly disciple really didn't want your radish. Could it be that you said you would give her radish, and she really took it as a radish? How can that be? Little Seven looked at him as if he was a fool. I put the radish in her hands 2 or 3 times. She didn't want it and gave it back to me. Su-jin touched his chin and pondered. It seems that my silly disciple is really too silly. I have to teach her properly when I go back. Really, I don't know how Old Man Devil taught her before. She's actually so silly. She doesn't even know how to take good things. You don't have that ability. Little Seven snorted. You plan to follow her until Old Man comes back. You still dare to stay here? Su-jin looked at Little Seven provocatively. Why wouldn't I dare? Although Little Seven said this, she still didn't have enough confidence. I say, if you don't stay in the place they prepared for you, if you get caught and eaten, you won't even have time to cry. Su-jin reminded her. This is the school. Who can catch me? Little Seven didn't listen to his words. She took a bite of the herb and spat it on the ground. Why does it taste so bad? Who told you to eat it directly? Su-jin's heart ached for his own herbs. This fellow was too wasteful. If I don't eat it like this, how can I eat it? Little Seven threw the rest of the herbs into Su-jin's arms. You eat these herbs just to absorb the medicinal properties inside to increase your strength. It's not like you're really going to eat them. Su-jin said. Since it's like this, haven't you thought about refining them into pills? After refining them, they won't taste that bad. It can be like this? Little Seven's eyes lit up. These things are too bad, but I have to eat them. Every time I eat them, I feel pain. Although you use cooking is good, it can't satisfy my needs. If I can refine them into pills, it'll be better. It's like this when you're stupid. When you transformed into a little doll. Why didn't you transform yourself to be smarter? Su-jin teased. TSK, Little Seven bared her teeth at him and threatened. Do you believe that I'll eat you? You can try. Su-jin wasn't afraid at all. Humph, wait until that old fellow comes back. Let's see if you can still be so cocky. I'm fine. At most, he'll scold me a little when he comes back. But you're wandering around without your original body. I think you'll be taught a lesson. Let's wait and see. I'll go find you to make me eat the pills. Little Seven ran towards the backyard after she finished speaking. Sima Yue was cooking while Han Miaoshuang watched with shining eyes. When Yue started cooking, she smelled the fragrance. Then her legs didn't listen to her and ran over with her. What did Little Seven say to Master? Wait a little longer. It'll be done soon. Sima Yue waved at Little Seven. Han Miaoshuang smiled and teased. Little junior brother, you treat Little Seven better than the rest of us. Sima Yue wasn't angry. She smiled. You're all adults. Little Seven is still a child. Why are you jealous of a child? If you like it, I'll give you a big jar later. You can drink it slowly. Little Seven walked over and sat beside Han Miaoshuang. I'll give you a big jar of vinegar. You two are in cahoots. Han Miaoshuang looked at Little Seven. She felt that she wasn't as simple as a child. But looking at Sima Yue, she seemed to trust her. Little Seven seemed to like it when Han Miaoshuang tied her and Sima Yue together. She wasn't angry and just smiled. Chapter 655. The two of them, one big and one small, ate until they were full and satisfied. After Han Miaoshuang finished eating, she went to refine pills, leaving Sima Yue and Little Seven to chat while packing up. Can you refine my radish into pills? Little Seven asked. Your radish? Sima Yue was stunned and immediately understood that she was talking about her medicinal herbs. She asked, what are you refining them for? If you want to refine pills, you need to match it with other herbs. I want to eat radishes, but radishes don't taste good. Su, your master said that he can refine them into pills, so I don't have to eat them directly. Little Seven said. You won't feel hungry after eating those herbs, right? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. Her gaze made the latter lower her head guiltily. After a while, Yue's voice was heard. I can help you refine the herbs into pills. Sima Yue said. But it's too late today, how about tomorrow? All right. Little Seven nodded and smiled happily. The next morning, just as Sima Yue came out from her cultivation state, she heard Little Seven knocking on the door. After getting a response, she pushed the door open and pulled her to the pill refining room. Sima Yue arrived at the alchemy room and saw the mountain of herbs on the table. Her mouth twitched as she asked Little Seven, "These are all yours?" Little Seven nodded. "Other than the radish and some grass, you can refine them all for me." "How long will this last you?" Little Seven tilted her head and thought for a moment before saying, 10 days. 10 days? You want to eat so many medicinal herbs in 10 days? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven in shock. She really wanted to see how Little Seven's body did not explode after absorbing so much medicinal power. "I still have a lot of radishes, but I thought that you would be tired after refining so many, so I took these out," Little Seven said. Sima Yue suddenly felt a little bitter. She had to refine so many herbs for her every 10 days? "I don't want to eat so much, but I'm hungry." Little Seven lowered her head, feeling wronged. Sima Yue suddenly felt that she had sinned. She quickly patted her head and said, "It's okay. This isn't alchemy. There's no need to fuse those things. It's not that troublesome. It shouldn't take much time." Little Seven raised her head. The grievance on her face disappeared and was replaced by a smile. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. She thought that her eyes must have been playing tricks on her. "All right, I'll refine the pill for you. You can go out and play. I'll watch." As Little Seven spoke, she took out a chair from somewhere and sat down in the corner of the alchemy room. She placed her legs on the crossbar of the chair and rested her hands on her knees. She watched Sima Yue busy herself. Sima Yue ignored her and started to process the herbs for her. She also knew that if these medicinal herbs were eaten directly, the medicinal taste would be stronger and bitter. It would not taste good. Refining the essence and making pills was much better than eating the herbs directly. Little Seven gave her a lot of herbs, and they were all very precious. Luckily, she was very familiar with refining herbs. By noon, she had finished refining all the herbs, and even made them into pills. She kept all of them in a jade bottle. While she was refining, Little Seven maintained her posture and looked at her. When she saw that she was done, she jumped down from the chair and threw a pill into her mouth. "It's the taste of one of my radishes. But it doesn't taste bitter anymore," Little Seven said happily. "I added some scarlet honey in when I was refining, so it has a hint of sweetness." Sima Yue said, "Keep these pills well. You can eat these when I don't have time to cook for you." Little Seven nodded happily and ate another one. These pills are different from other herbs. Every pill has a strong medicinal effect. You have to know your limits. Don't eat too many at once. Yue gave her all the pills and reminded her. Little Seven nodded and kept all the pills away. Sima Yue and the others moved quickly. The next day, they went to the teacher in charge of the club to register. The Thunder Club was born just like that. Seeing the name list that Sima Yue handed in, Little Seven's name was written at the end. The teacher's face flashed with surprise and asked, "Is Little Seven a little girl?" "Yes, teacher," Sima Yue replied. The teacher suppressed the surprise in his heart and said calmly, "All right, it has been noted. Your club is established today. The leader is Sima Yue. If there is a change in leader in the future, just come and register it." "Yes, thank you, teacher." Sima Yue and Wei Ziqi bowed and left the office. The teacher lowered his head and looked at the member list again. He said faintly, "This Little Seven came out to be naughty again." The other clubs soon knew about their establishment. Cliff Mountain sent Shuirong and Ma Bojian to congratulate them. The other clubs did not express anything. Shuirong asked about their member list and found out that they only had 11 people, but half of them were professional masters. She sighed. She didn't know if their lineup was strong or weak. Not long after Shuirong went back, the Thunder Club's member list was spread out. Most people were not interested in their members. Only those who were at the top of the billboard would be surprised. "Bin, is this Little Seven that Little Seven?" Tang Yin looked at the list in his hand and said, "It should be her." Bin said, "I don't know how the others will react when they see this news." I'm really looking forward to it, Tang Yan said with a smile. Hehe, if they know that little seven has appeared again and joined a new club, I don't know if they will swarm over like a swarm of bees. Anyway, the 3 big meetings are about to start. Those guys should come out one after another. At that time there will be a show to watch. What about you? Do you want to go? Mo Bin looked at Tang Yan. We have always been together. If you go, I will go. Tang Yan opened his big fan and winked at Mo Bin. Are your eyes cramping again? Mo Bin rolled his eyes. Tang Yan's eyes turned into anger. Seeing that Mo Bin still had no reaction, he could only retract his gaze. You're not really going, are you? Why not? Mo Bin asked back. That's true. With little seven you will definitely go, Tang Yan said. The 3 people in front of you will go too. It's just that it's not certain whether they will join or not. Only little seven alone is enough to attract people. Mo Bin sighed. But this team's strength is not weak. There is Sima Yue who is stronger than Lu Mingyuan. There are 2 alchemists, 1 array master, 1 beast tamer, 1 weapon refiner, and little seven. This team TSK Tisk. You forgot. Sima Yue is also an alchemist. She is also the most dazzling freshman in the new student assessment. Mo Bin reminded. Chapter 656. During the alchemist examination, Sima Yue had used a variety of refining methods to refine a 6th grade elixir in 3.5 hours. This incident had once caused a frenzy in the inner yard. Especially the alchemists, all of them wanted to meet her. However, before she could report to the inner court, she had taken a year's leave. Later on, when she arrived at the inner court, she appeared in front of everyone with her powerful strength, causing everyone to forget that she had refined pills before. Tang Yan slapped his head. That's right, other than those 2 alchemists, there is also Sima Yue, an even more powerful alchemist. What do you think is the origin of this group of new students? They have so many professional masters in their early days, and they even cover so many different fields. They are all her relatives and friends, Mo Bin said. So I'm even more curious about what kind of environment they grew up in. I think the people in the top 50 should know little seven. After all, they were all there. That's why those societies don't dare to provoke Thunderbolt. Not to mention that her battle today will make people wary of her. Just with little seven here, the leaders of the other societies will have to warn their subordinates not to provoke them. Smart people won't look down on her just because her club has fewer members now. I heard that Madman is coming back. When he finds out about Sima Yue, there will be a lot of fun. That depends on whether little seven is by her side or not. Just wait and see. Just like Mo Bin and Tang Yan, the leaders of the various clubs were also surprised. Originally, when they found out that a small club had been established, they wanted to show off their might. However, after seeing little seven's name, they all fell silent. In the end, they only ordered one sentence: don't cause trouble for them. After Shuirong left, Sima Yuqi and the others kept waiting for the other teams to come and find trouble. However, after waiting for an entire day, no one came, causing everyone to be extremely puzzled. But they didn't think that it was related to little seven. Sima Yue spent a few quiet days in the parting garden. She had already contacted Shimen Feng and was preparing to ask for leave. Su Jin was a person with a big temper, but his temper would bring a lot of convenience to his disciples. For example, if she wanted to apply for leave, she didn't need to look for Director Mao at all. She could just come out with Su Jin's token. She left the building area of the inner yard and headed east. She passed through a mountain range and arrived at a teleportation formation. There was only one pavilion and there were two people guarding it. When they saw Sima Yue coming over, they asked, "Are you going out?" "Yes." "Leave slip." "No. She was interrupted before she could finish her sentence. "You can't go out without a leave slip. Today isn't the day to go out." Go back, go back." Sima Yue took out Su Jin's token and handed it over, saying, "I have this." The person who spoke took the token and looked at it, saying, "Su Jin's token. Are you his disciple?" "Yes." "Identity token." That person stretched out his hand. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment, before she realized that he wanted her token. She quickly took it out and handed it over. The man took the tokens and placed them on his forehead. After confirming her identity, he returned the 2 tokens to her. Go. Thank you. Sima Yue stood on the teleportation formation. That person immediately activated the formation. Very quickly, she appeared on the teleportation formation of the outer yard. The teleportation formation connecting the outer yard and the inner yard was in a small courtyard beside the formation department. Usually there was only one person guarding it. When he saw the formation light up, the guard was curious. Who could come out when it wasn't a holiday? One had to know that in the inner yard, as long as it wasn't a mission, it was very difficult to ask for leave. And when they went out for a mission, they usually wouldn't go through the outer yard. When he saw the person on the teleportation formation, the guard was relieved. So it was Su Jin's disciple. No wonder he could come out as he pleased. Sima Yue bowed slightly to that person, and then left the courtyard. She had lived in the outer courtyard for 2 years, but she wasn't familiar with this place at all. In those 2 years, besides going to the demon world and staying there for nearly a year, the rest of the time, if she wasn't cultivating, she was immersed in researching information for the matter of Shimen Feng. She rarely walked around campus. She asked 2 students before she found the area she was familiar with. When she saw Gulang's office, she couldn't help but sigh. Thinking back, she said that she would find time to come to the formation department to listen to a class, but she didn't. So she couldn't find the way to her previous place. Gulang wasn't in the office. He went to teach a class. Sima Yue waited downstairs for a while, and saw him walking over with a group of students. Some of them were from the previous research group, and some of them she didn't know. Seeing Sima Yue, some of the students greeted her. She also smiled and responded to them one by one. Gulang handed the book in his hand to the person next to him and ordered, "You guys go up and wait for me." "Yes, teacher." The students went around her and went upstairs. Gulang walked over and asked, "Why did you come out today?" "Teacher Gu, I got the Earth's Eye," Sima Yue said somewhat excitedly. "What did you say?" Gulang suspected that he heard wrong and looked at her in surprise. "It's true," Sima Yue said now. Gulang looked around and made sure that there was no one around. He then grabbed her hand excitedly. "How did you get that thing so quickly?" "Master gave it to me. He said that someone gave it to him," Sima Yue said. Seeing Gulang's stunned expression, she continued, "I also think that Master's words are a little unreliable. But no matter how he got it, it's in my hands now." "Then why are you here today?" "I've already informed Feng, to come back. He should be at home now. I'm here today to invite Teacher Gu to go with me." Sima Yue said, "I wonder if Teacher Gu is willing to come with me? You want to go with me?" Gulang didn't expect Sima Yue to invite him. Sima Yue nodded. "Teacher Gu, you were the one who thought of this method. Don't you want to see the results? Moreover, I think that with Teacher Gu by my side, it'll be easier to deal with any situation." "All right then. Wait for a while. I'll ask the students to go back," Gulang said. "Teacher Gu, there's no hurry. I'm here today to inform you that it'll officially start tomorrow," Sima Yue said. "You can come to my house tomorrow." "All right, when will you start?" 1:00 in the afternoon. Sima Yue said. "All right, 1:00 tomorrow afternoon. I'll be there on time. Then I'll go back first. We'll treat Feng together tomorrow. I won't waste Teacher Ji's time now." Sima Yue waved at Gulang and left. After leaving the school, she went straight home. Before she knocked on the door was opened. "Yue, you're back? We were just about to contact you." Bei Gongheng looked at Sima Yue and grabbed her hand. "What happened? Something happened to Brother Feng." Chapter 657. When Sima Yue heard this, she immediately became nervous. She grabbed Bei Gongheng's hand and asked anxiously, "Feng, what happened? Where is he now?" "Brother Feng is in his room." Before Bei Gongheng could finish his words, Sima Yue left him behind and ran toward Shimenfeng's house. He quickly chased after her. Sima Yue saw the front of Shimenfeng's house. Before she entered the door, she heard the sound of crying coming from inside. Feng. She pushed open the half-closed door and went in. She saw Yinlan and Sang Muyu in the room, their faces gloomy. A strange man sat on the edge of the bed while Kong Sengyi stood beside him, sobbing nonstop. And Shimenfeng was lying on the bed, unconscious. Seeing his pale face, she was stunned. Feng, what's wrong? Yue, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. What's wrong with Feng? She called out. The strange man sitting on the bedside stood up and said, We were attacked. Shimenfeng released the seal. Then it became what it is now. Sima Yue's body swayed when she heard the words release the seal. She grabbed onto the door frame to stabilize herself. Hang, go to the heavenly sect and find teacher Ge Lang in the medical department. Ask him to come over. She ordered Bei Gonghang, who was rushing over. All right. Bei Gonghang saw the way Sima Yue was behaving and didn't say anything else. He took off running outside. Yue, quickly take a look at him. Yinlan said. Sima Yue ran to the bedside. She took a deep breath and grabbed her clothes with her left hand to calm herself down. Then she grabbed his hand and started to check him. Did you give him a heart protection pill? After checking for a while, she turned around and asked Kong Sengyi. Yes. I've always been worried about when Feng would break through the seal. I heard from Jingwen that the heart protection pill would be useful for him, so I've always kept it with me. Kong Sengyi said. After he killed those people, I gave him one pill. Since then, he has been taking one pill every day. Today is already the 4th day. When Jingwen saw that Sima Yue knew that Shimenfeng had taken the heart protection pill just by taking his pulse, he looked at her with more interest. Because the heart protection pill only protected the heart a little bit, it was very difficult for ordinary people to detect it. Before coming here, he had heard that her medical skills were very good. It seemed that this trip was not in vain. Sima Yue's fierce expression softened a little. The heart protection pill was considered a relatively precious pill. One pill was worth 1,000 taels of gold. Kong Sengyi actually prepared so many. Yue, how's the situation with Feng? Sang Muyu asked the question that Kong Sengyi had been wanting to ask. Because that aura was suppressed, once it regained its freedom, it's crazily attacking Feng's body. Now his internal organs are being corroded very badly. Luckily, the heart protection pill protected Feng's heart, so he didn't die immediately. Sima Yue said. I'll give Feng some acupuncture to stabilize the aura. You guys go out first. I'll stay and help you. Jingwen said. Sima Yue looked at Jingwen, then looked at Kong Sengyi. They should be on the same side if they could be invited by her. Also, it was inconvenient for her to do some things alone. It would be better if there was a man around. Okay, help me take off all his clothes. There's no need to take off his underwear. Then rub this all over his body. She handed a green medicine bottle to Jingwen, then took out her tools and started to prepare. Xiangyi, if I'm not out by the time teacher Gu arrives, let him wait outside for a while. She looked at the silver needles and instructed without raising her head. Yes. Kong Sengyi was the last to leave, closing the door behind him. Yinlan and Sang Muyu saw that Kong Sengyi still had tears on his face, and comforted him. Yue is back, Feng should be fine. Okay. Kong Sengyi looked back at the door full of worry. Let's just wait here. Yinlan said. I wonder if Yue can cure Feng this time. Sang Muyu and Yinlan had a big age difference, but because their children were close in age, and they had always lived together, they became good sisters. I see that although Yue's expression is worried, there's no despair. There should still be hope. Yinlan said. Yue, this child, it's been hard on her these 2 years. If anything happens at this time, I'm afraid. I believe in her medical skills. There won't be any problems. Yinlan said confidently. The 3 of them waited in the courtyard for a while. Sima Lai brought 2 people in from outside. Seeing that they were all outside, he asked. Why are you here? How's Feng's condition? Yue is back and he's being treated inside. Yinlan replied. Yue is back so soon? Sima Lai was a little surprised. as he thought that she would only be back after 2 days. I heard that young Master Yoyue's medical skills are amazing. Since she's back, there's no need for me. The person who came with Sima Lai said. I'm really sorry. Sima Lai cupped his hands and said apologetically. With young Master Yoyue, I think that the patient should be fine. The manager of Xianyuan Pavilion said. I hope so. Sima Lai thought that Sima Yue was inside, and his heart relaxed a lot. If Shimin Feng was really gone, he couldn't imagine what Yue would be like. Since Yue is inside, it's not convenient for us to disturb her. Since that's the case, why don't the two of you follow me to the living room to have a cup of tea? Brother Sima is too polite. We're also very concerned about the situation inside. Why don't we wait here together? The manager of Xianyuan Pavilion said. That's fine too. How about we wait in the pavilion? Okay, please. Sima Lai brought the two of them to the pavilion. Sang Mu Yu consciously prepared tea for the three of them, and then returned to the entrance to continue waiting with Yin Lan. At the same time, Bei Gongheng also waited for a while at the entrance of the academy. From time to time he would look inside the academy, and when he saw Gulang's figure, he hurriedly ran over. Teacher Gu. Gulang was originally discussing with the group of students, and when he heard that Sima Yue had sent someone to find him, he was a little surprised. Didn't she just leave? Why did she send someone to find him again? However, he guessed that something must have happened since Yue was so anxious to find him. Thus, he dismissed the students and hurriedly went to the entrance of the academy. You're Yue's child. Gulang recognized Bei Gongheng. Yes. Teacher Gu, Yue wants you to go over now. Bei Gongheng said anxiously. Didn't you say you'll go tomorrow? What happened? Brother Feng broke through the seal, and now his life is in danger. Teacher Gu, can you come with me now? Okay, let's hurry over. Gulang naturally knew what would happen if Shimin Feng broke through the seal, and urged him. I took a beast carriage here. Teacher Gu, get on. Bei Gongheng welcomed Gulang into the carriage, and drove the carriage out of the academy gate. Chapter 658. When Gulang and Bei Gongheng arrived home, Sima Yue and Jingwen were still in the house. Seeing Gulang come in, the steward of the Xianyuan Pavilion and the doctor he brought came to salute him. What's the situation now? Gulang asked. Yue and Jingwen are still inside. They haven't come out yet. We don't know what the current situation is either. Yinlan said. Kong Sengyi's tears fell even harder. Gulang was curious about the identity of Kong Sengyi, but now was not the time to be concerned. Creak. The door suddenly opened. Sima Yue and Jingwen walked out, looking exhausted. Sima Yue walked in front of Gulang and bowed to him. Please forgive me for inviting Teacher Gu here so urgently. Why are you still telling me this? How is your brother now? Gulang lifted her hand and said. Feng, has temporarily stabilized, but this is only temporary. I want to ask the teacher to take a look and see if we can still use that method with Feng's condition. Sima Yue said. Okay, let's go in and take a look. Gulang took the lead and walked into the house. Sima Yue followed him. Jingwen thought about it for a moment, then followed him in. Previously, he had only been curious about her, but after the emergency treatment, he only had admiration for her. She actually used those needles to solve the problem that he couldn't do anything about. He had no choice but to admit defeat. Teacher Gu, I just used the silver needle technique to stabilize the qi in his body. Take a look at his condition. Sima Yue said. Gulang nodded, walked to the bedside and sat down. After checking Shimin Feng's pulse, he said after a while. His condition is better than expected. This is related to the heart protection pill you usually give him. Yes, I used to refine pills for Feng, to improve his internal organs. Xiang Yi also gave him a heart protection pill at that time. Sima Yue said. What do you think about this situation? Gulang asked. I want to use that method on him immediately. Sima Yue said. Since that aura has already wandered around his body and infiltrated his internal organs, it's impossible to extract it now. It's better to let him refine that aura into his own strength. But he's already completely unconscious and his consciousness is low. I'm afraid it's impossible for him to refine this strength. Gu disagreed. But if we don't get rid of this power, it will leave behind a root of illness. Sima Yu said. If we let his strength stop here forever, he will collapse. You speak with such certainty. Is there any way for him to take the initiative to borrow the medicinal strength to refine that power? When the time comes, I want to send my divine sense into his body and awaken his divine sense. Then we can refine that aura together. Sima Yu said. What did you say? Jingwen exclaimed in a low voice. Do you know that if you do that, his soul will be awakened and he won't be able to recognize you? It's very likely that he will attack you, and your soul will be severely damaged. Even if he doesn't attack you, you'll still be hurt if you help him refine it. I know, but I have to do it, Sima Yu said. Teacher Gu, your method is possible. Can you help me? Gu Lang looked at Sima Yu's pleading eyes. He nodded and said, We're thinking about the same thing. But the risk is too big, so I didn't mention it. But you have to persevere. I'll do my best to help you. Thank you, Teacher Gu. Sima Yu looked at Gu Lang with tears in her eyes. Shimenfeng was her only family in her past life. She couldn't lose him again. As long as there was a chance, she had to give it her all. Jingwen looked at the two of them and shook his head. Since you've decided, I won't disturb you. I'll leave first. Thank you. Sima Yu nodded at him gratefully. She needed someone she trusted to be by her side. She was worried about Jingwen. If he was here, she couldn't let go of herself completely. Now that he took the initiative to leave, it relieved her of her worries. Jingwen left. Gu Lang looked at Sima Yu's tired face and said, His condition isn't urgent. You can rest for a while. I'll prepare the things we need to use. Sima Yu didn't force herself. What she needed to do required a high level of concentration. She had used up a lot of energy to treat Shimenfeng, so it was best for her to recover. Gu Lang went out to find Sima Lai and the others to prepare a wooden bucket and hot water. She took the opportunity to eat 2 drops of soul fluid and a pill to recover her consciousness. Then she sat on a chair to meditate. Gu Lang prepared the things and she was done meditating. The two of them locked themselves in the room. After giving each other a look of encouragement, they threw Shimenfeng into the water to start the treatment. Gu Lang was in charge of the medicine. She came in front of Shimenfeng and used the bathtub to turn him over. Then she held his face. Their eyebrows touched and a faint halo was emitted from the place where they touched. Shimenfeng felt as if his soul was imprisoned in a dark space. All around him was a bone-piercing cold. He curled up his body in the dark space. He was half asleep, half awake. It was as if he could forget the cold around him and not let himself fall into darkness forever. Feng Er. A gentle call cut through the darkness. He subconsciously looked around. Feng Er, why are you sleeping again? If you don't get up to cultivate, Mother will punish you. Sister? Feng Er, didn't you say we were going to catch a spirit rabbit to roast? If you don't come, Little Roar will eat it all. Sister, where are you? Where am I? Shimenfeng looked around in the dark and didn't see the person who spoke. Feng Er, you're in a dark room. You have to come out of this room. I'll wait for you outside. Sister, this is a room? How did I get here? Shimenfeng grabbed his head. He couldn't remember. Feng Er, don't worry. Listen to Sister. Sister is waiting for you outside. She will always be here with you. Let's open this black room together, okay? Sima Yu felt that Shimenfeng's soul was fluctuating. She quickly comforted him. You're really my sister? Shimenfeng asked uncertainly. Of course. Other than me. Who else do you want to be your sister? Shimenfeng almost believed her words. However, the scene of Qin Mo bringing him to Shimen Yu's grave suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Your sister is already dead. I buried her with my own hands. Qin Mo's words made Shimenfeng irritable. His hands kept waving in the dark. You're not my sister. My sister is already dead. Who are you? He attacked all around. He obviously didn't hit Sima Yu. However, she spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood flowed from the corner of her mouth into the bathtub and bloomed into a blood-red flower. Chapter 659. Yue. Gulang saw Sima Yue vomiting blood and wanted her to give up, but she raised her hand to stop him. "I'm fine." She wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and continued to slowly pour her divine sense into Shimenfeng's sea of consciousness. "Feng, or have you forgotten? Sister has been reborn. We met outside Yu City. You called me Big Sister. Do you still remember?" In front of Shimenfeng's eyes, the scene of his sister's soul living in a safe and unfamiliar woman's body seemed to appear. "Sister. Feng, you remembered me. Sister, are you hurt? Did I hurt you?" Shimenfeng could hear the weakness in her voice. "Big Sister is fine. Big Sister has been waiting for you outside for too long, but you didn't come out. Big Sister couldn't see you and got anxious." "Feng, don't you want to see me?" "Yes," Shimenfeng eagerly said. "Big Sister wants to see you too. Can you come out of that place now?" Shimenfeng looked at the pitch-black surroundings and said, "Sister, I don't know where I am, and I also don't know where the exit is." "It's okay, I'll bring you out," Sima Yue said. "Can you sense where I am?" "Sure. Gather your spiritual energy and burn the darkness in front of you," Sima Yue said. "Sister will be with you and guide you out." "All right." Shimenfeng condensed his spiritual energy and tried to attack according to Sima Yue's instructions. At the same time, the spiritual energy in his body was activated again. It followed Sima Yue's consciousness and flowed throughout his body. Under the effect of the medicine, it enveloped, devoured and assimilated the aura it encountered. Although it was very slow, it was changing the aura in his body bit by bit. Sima Yue didn't know how much time had passed outside. She only knew that she must highly concentrate on guiding the spiritual power of Shimenfeng. And together with him, she must completely swallow the aura inside his body and then transform it into his own strength. Shimenfeng had been fighting against the darkness. Towards the end, he already had his own consciousness and knew what he was doing. He also knew that Sima Yue was helping him. He wanted to do it himself, but he couldn't. He hadn't completely come out of the dark environment. A little bit of light, a little bit more, a little bit more. When he left the dark environment, he felt the bindings on his body disappear, and his eyes seemed to be able to open. "Sister." He opened his eyes and saw a pale face. "Feng, you finally woke up." She let go of Shimenfeng's cheek and slid down the bathtub. "Big Sister." Shimenfeng wanted to get up and help her up, but was pushed back. Gulang pressed down on his shoulder and said, "Although you've already woken up, you haven't completely refined the aura in your body. Just stay here and continue. She'll be fine." Shimenfeng still wanted to struggle, but Gulang roared, "Your sister fainted because of you. If you get up, all your previous efforts will be wasted. Do you want your sister's hard work to go to waste?" Shimenfeng was stunned. He saw Gulang let go of him and went to carry Sima Yue and put her on the bed. He sat back, clenched his teeth and closed his eyes to continue refining. Gulang was right. He couldn't let his sister's efforts go to waste. He had to finish the rest. Gulang gave Sima Yue a pill and turned to look at Shimenfeng. Seeing that he continued, he was relieved. Shimenfeng finished refining the remaining aura, and then, together with the aura he refined before, he poured it all into the spiritual pool. A large amount of energy was poured in, allowing him to advance in the bathtub. When he finished advancing, his body returned to its best condition. The organs that were corroded by the dark aura were also quickly repaired, returning to their original state. "Not bad." Gulang looked at Shimenfeng and nodded. Then he sat weakly by the bed and took out a pill to eat. Shimenfeng came out of the bathtub and put on his clothes. He bowed to Gulang and said gratefully, "Thank you, Teacher Gu, for saving my life." Gulang waved his hand and said, "No need to thank me. It was your sister who saved you." "Sister, Shimenfeng looked at her pale face and felt his heart ache. "She injected her divine sense into your body for half a month, guiding you to refine the dark aura. At first, she was injured by you. Luckily, it went smoothly." Gulang said. I old Gu, have lived for hundreds of years and have never seen someone so desperate. But luckily, this guy has strong spiritual energy. Otherwise, the two of you would be finished this time. Then how is sister now? Will she be in danger? Shimin Feng asked. There is no danger, but her divine sense was seriously injured this time. I'm afraid it will take some time for her to recover. Gulang shook his head and said, when she wakes up, tell her that the things she prepared have been used up due to some changes in the situation. Only this Earth's Eye is left. Luckily, she prepared a lot of Earth's Eye. If she prepared according to her previous estimates, I'm afraid you will be completely hopeless. Originally, it was 8 tails. In the end, Sima Yue brought back almost 2 caddies. In the end, she spent more than 1 caddy and left a little in the box. Gulang handed the box to Shimin Feng and said, when she wakes up, she must rest well for a period of time. It would be best if she could stay in bed for a week and recuperate for a month. During this period of time, remember not to use your divine sense. It would be best if you don't even think about anything. Alright, there's nothing else to say. I'll go back to the academy first. Shimin Feng held the box and bowed deeply with both hands. He said, Master Ji's kindness today, Shimin Feng will remember it in my heart. Gulang waved his hand and walked past him. He opened the door and went out. Kong Sengyi and Jingwen were still waiting outside. When they heard the door open, they were shocked. Seeing Gulang come out, Kong Sengyi wanted to go up and ask how Shimin Feng was doing. But before he could say anything, he saw Shimin Feng also walk out of the house. Feng, you're fine. Kong Sengyi rushed over and hugged him tightly. Shimin Feng was speechless at Kong Sengyi's reaction. His hands hung in the air. He didn't know whether to push her or not. Don't be like this. I'm still fine. He helplessly comforted her. I knew it. Yue will definitely save you. Kong Sengyi cried. But this time, it wasn't tears of worry and self-blame. Instead, it was tears of joy. Let go. I still have to send Master Go off. Shimin Feng finally put down his hands and patted her shoulder. Why send me off? It's not like I can't find the way. I can walk on my own. Gulang said. Master Gu, let me send you off. Jingwen was shocked when he saw Shimin Feng come out. Now that Kong Sengyi was so excited, he would send this teacher off on behalf of his master. Chapter 660. Sima Yue felt like she had been walking on a small road for a very long time. It was as if the road had no end and she did not know where it was taking her. A vast expanse of white appeared in front of them, and the path extended all the way into the white fog. She looked at the white mist and felt very warm. She really wanted to walk in. Suddenly, Emo Shaw's figure appeared on the side of the road, glaring at her angrily. Where are you going? Sima Yue felt a little guilty when he glared at her. She chuckled and said, I don't know where we're going either. It's just that there's no end to this road. Emo Shaw pointed at the white fog in front of them and said, if you continue to walk forward, you'll never be able to return. You can only get lost inside. Sima Yue was shocked and took a few steps back. She patted her chest and said, so scary. Fortunately, you appeared. Come back with me. Emo Shaw glared at her and extended his hand towards her. Sima Yue looked at his seductive eyes and suddenly giggled. Emo Shaw, do you like me? Emo Shaw was stifled by her question and shouted in a low voice. What nonsense are you spouting? Give me your hand. Sima Yue already knew that this wasn't the real world. This Emo Shaw was most likely an illusion created by her, so she wasn't afraid of him. She giggled and said, am I spouting nonsense? If so, why do you appear every time I'm in danger? You're my contractor. Emo Shaw's face was cold. But you don't look at me like I'm your contractor. Sima Yue poked his face. There was no resistance. It really wasn't him. Emo Shaw looked at her. Just as he was about to yell again, he heard her mutter to herself. I only dared to say that in my dreams. But actually, I like you a little too. Ever since I was reborn, you have always been by my side and taught me to be strong. Although you have a bad temper and always yell at me, I know that you care about me. I believe you, but I'm also afraid that what happened in my previous life will happen again, and you will hurt my family. I couldn't afford to be betrayed by someone I loved, so I had to confirm it again and again in the demon realm. But you also surprised me. You actually swore. Doesn't this mean that you care about me? When Emo Sha heard her inner thoughts, he couldn't help but feel happy. But when he heard that she had been betrayed by the person she loved, his heart ached. He didn't like the disappointment in her eyes. He really didn't like it. I won't betray you, he said. Okay, then I'll believe in fate one more time. Sima Yue nodded seriously. But don't be mean to me in the future, okay? You can't bully me just because you are stronger than me. In the future, when we cancel the contract, you can go back to being the Demon King. You can't become someone I don't know, understand? Emo Sha looked at her, his eyes unreadable, but in the end he still nodded. You actually nodded? It seems that you are indeed an illusion created by me. It's not true. Sima Yue sighed. It was rare for Emo Sha to be so gentle, but when he heard her words, his face darkened. Am I that fierce in your heart? Haven't you bullied me enough? Every time you bully me just because you are stronger than me. Luckily, you're not my boyfriend. If my boyfriend dared to do that, I would beat him up until he went to see his grandma. Boyfriend? What's that? It's when two parties have confirmed that they are in a relationship, but haven't married yet. In the world I used to live in, before marriage, you have to date for a period of time. If you think it's good, you get married. If you don't, you break up and say goodbye. Then you go your separate ways. Then what's your boyfriend like? It doesn't matter what, but he has to pamper me. If he loves me, he has to pamper me. If I say he can't go to heaven, he will definitely not eat meat. If I like the stars in the sky, even if I don't say anything, he will go and pluck them for me. Of course, I won't make such a request. Anyway, he has to treat me very, very well. Emo Sha stared at her, not knowing what he was thinking. Sima Yue saw that he didn't react, so she waved her hand and said, Why am I telling you this? You're just an illusion in my head. Telling you is actually telling myself. It's a waste of time. Then what if I'm real? How can you be real? Sima Yue glanced at him. If you're real, why are you here listening to me talk so much? Even if I scold you, you won't get angry at me? Only the one I'm imagining will. Why won't the one you're imagining not get angry at you? Because the one I'm imagining is definitely someone who will treat me well and listen to me. Of course, you won't get angry at me. You want me to treat you like that? There's no point in wishing it, right? Sima Yue pouted. Emo Sha was different from other people to her. Although he was only a spirit, and his identity was also someone from the devil world, he was someone she had always relied on. After losing the memories of her past life, when she arrived in the Elin continent, she thought that she came directly from Earth. Although she appeared to be strong, she was still a little afraid of a foreign world. And at this time, he appeared, taught her alchemy, and faced life with her. Although he was very fierce when teaching her alchemy, and would shout at her, she had never seen him look at her with disdain. Emo Sha reached out his hand again, saying, Give me your hand, I'll bring you back. You're already so fierce after saying that. Sima Yue reached out her hand, and when she was about to put it on Emo Sha's hand, she heard a gentle call. Child, come here. Her hand stopped in midair, and she turned her head to look. A beautiful woman appeared at the edge of the white fog. Mother? Why are you here? She cried out in surprise. Emo Sha saw that Sima Yue's hand was only a centimeter away from his, and his eyes flashed with anxiety. In here, he couldn't forcefully pull her out. Only she could put her hand in his. But now that she wasn't moving, he was anxious. The woman waved at Sima Yue, saying, Child, come here. Once you're here, you'll be free. You won't have to think about those things, and you'll be able to obtain true freedom. Sima Yue couldn't help but take a step forward. Don't go over. If you go over, you won't be able to come out. Emo Sha shouted. Sima Yue turned her head to look at Emo Sha, and then turned back to look at her gentle mother. She then smiled, saying, Mother, you're no longer here. Even if I go over, I won't be able to see you. Mother, don't worry. I'll take good care of Feng. Oh right, Fenger, I'm treating Fenger's illness. How did I end up here? Why can't I remember? Yue. Emosha's shadow slowly faded. He looked at her pleadingly, and there was an indescribable sadness in his eyes. His time was up. If she wasn't willing to go with him, then they would be trapped on this path forever. Sima Yue's heart was burned by Emosha's gaze. He was sad that she didn't grab his hand, and he was begging her to do so. She didn't want him to be like this, so she grabbed his hand without thinking. Before she could say anything, she felt the world spinning. She, who was lying on the bed, opened her eyes at the same time, making the person beside the bed happy. Chapter 661. Little junior brother, you're finally awake. To force one learning, Wu Lingyu, who had been guarding the door, breathed a sigh of relief. Senior brother? Sima Yue was still in a daze. She rubbed her temples and asked in confusion when she heard the sounds in the room. How do you feel now? Wu Lingyu reached out to rub her brows and asked gently. Why are you here? I sensed that something had happened to you, so I rushed back. Wu Lingyu poked her forehead. Can you not work so hard? In order to save him, I almost sacrificed myself. What's wrong with me? Sima Yue was still confused and could not remember anything. In order to treat Shimen Feng, you injected your own divine sense into his body, and guided him to refine the power within his body. However, due to the exhaustion of your divine sense, you were unconscious for half a month, and even entered the primal chaos world. Your brother is blaming himself so much that he wants to commit suicide to atone for his sins, Wu Lingyu said reproachfully. I went to the chaos world? Sima Yue frowned. I heard that those who went there could never come back. How did I wake up? You also know that you won't wake up if you go there. The more Wu Lingyu looked at her, the angrier she became. I didn't know this would happen. You haven't told me how I woke up. Emosha used your contractual relationship to go in and bring you out. Wu Lingyu said, because going there would be too much damage to his soul. He went back directly after you woke up. Sima Yue opened her mouth slightly. After a while she said, that's really him. Of course it's him. If it wasn't for him, how could you have woken up? Wu Lingyu poked her again, almost poking a hole in her forehead. If a soul forcefully enters the primal chaos world, it will be greatly damaged, right? I wonder how Emosha is doing now. Sima Yue was a little worried about him. I won't die, Wu Lingyu said. He used the contract between the two of you to enter. Although he's very weak now, it's not enough to take his life. Oh. Sima Yue recalled that Emosha's expression was rather ugly when he was in the chaos world. The time he persisted was also rather short. It seemed that the chaos world had caused him quite a bit of damage. Where's Feng? I've been guarding you here for half a month. Before Emosha and I made our move, I was called out to rest. Wu Lingyu said. I think he'll be here soon. By the way, your senior brothers and sisters are here as well. What's the background of that kid? Sima Yue thought about it, and her head started to hurt. Wu Lingyu quickly stopped her. All right. Don't think about it anymore. You just came out of the chaos world. Don't you know that you can't use your brain? Aren't you the one who asked me? Sima Yue felt wronged. All right, I won't ask anymore. Wu Lingyu didn't know what to do with her. Your grandfather and the others are also very worried about you. Since you're awake, I'll go call them. Thank you, senior brother. She smiled faintly, but she didn't have much strength. Wu Lingyu ruffled her hair and turned to leave. Sima Yue laid on the bed. Her right hand touched the devil snare bracelet on her left wrist. Her heart was filled with emotions. The chaos world was a realm that cultivators were more afraid of. It lurked in the depths of a person's brain. Once a person entered that place, if they didn't come back in time, that person would forever be in a state of suspended animation. It was impossible for people from the outside world to enter a person's chaos world. People like Emosha who could enter with a contract would lose 2 of their 3 souls. He could actually take the initiative to break the contract with her. Although the price was a bit high, there was still a chance, right? And the damage would definitely be less than entering the chaos world. If she really couldn't wake up, he could completely cancel the contract now. She didn't expect that he would risk dissipating to go to the chaos world to pull her back. She felt that Emosha's soul was very weak now. It wasn't much better than when she first met him. "Thank you, Emosha," she said gratefully, thinking about what she said in the chaos world. She was a little embarrassed. That was the real Emosha, but I hope you'll forget it when you wake up. Creak. The door was pushed open. The first to enter wasn't Shimin Feng, but Han Miaoshuang and Little Seven. "Little junior brother, you're finally awake. If you didn't wake up, I would have cried to death." Han Miaoshuang pounced on the bed. "Without you, I can't even eat well. I haven't eaten for a long time." Sima Yue didn't have the strength to dodge, and was pounced on by her. "You're squashing her." Little Seven walked over, and lifted Han Miaoshuang up. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven gratefully. This little guy was still reliable. "Why are you guys here?" Little Seven said you didn't go back for a long time, so she wanted to look for you. Master was annoyed by her, and asked me to bring her out. Han Miaoshuang said. "You're really useless. You actually made yourself like this." Little Seven looked at Sima Yue with disdain. "But you're amazing too. You can even come back after entering the chaos world. How did you know I entered the chaos world?" She was slightly surprised. "Master said so. He came, took a look at you and said you entered the chaos world." Han Miaoshuang said. "Master came too? He took a look at you and left. He said you couldn't be saved." Han Miaoshuang didn't have any intention of snitching because Su Jin did say so. Sima Yue pursed her lips. This second master was too direct? Then master went back to the sect? No, he said he went to find that old guy to save you. I don't know where he went. Han Miaoshuang said. If I knew you used the Eye of Earth to make yourself like this, I wouldn't have given it to you. Little Seven said. Master probably regrets it too. Han Miaoshuang knew that Su Jin gave her the Eye of Earth, but she didn't know that it was given by Little Seven. When she heard Little Seven say that, she thought Little Seven was just complaining about Su Jin. Aren't I fine now? Sima Yue wanted to reach out and touch Little Seven, but she couldn't lift her hand. It wasn't so troublesome at first, but because something happened to Feng, I had to save him. He's that important to you? You can even give up your life for him? Little Seven stared. I didn't expect to accidentally enter the chaos world this time. But if I knew this from the start, I wouldn't hesitate to do it. You don't cherish your life? I cherish it very much. I still have a lot of things to do. Naturally, I don't want to die early. Then why are you still doing this? Little Seven, sometimes there are some unbearable burdens in a person's life. If the things you have to do are compared to the lives of your loved ones, it's not as important. Chapter 662. After Sima Yue said this, the two people in the room became silent. She could not bear the weight of life. To her, Shimin Feng was more important than her life. If she lost him, her life would become incomplete. Shimin Feng, who had just arrived at the courtyard, blinked a few times to force back his tears, then quickly walked inside. Wu Lingyu stood in place, still thinking about her words. Could it not bear the weight of life? When would he be able to bear the weight of her life force? Shimin Feng entered the room, and seeing Sima Yue opened her eyes again, he affectionately called, Sister. Feng. Sima Yue saw the guilt in his eyes and smiled at him, indicating that he should not take it to heart. Little Seven looked at Shimin Feng, and then looked at Sima Yue. She curled her lips. Why was it sister? Wasn't she younger than him? Han Miaoshuang was confused as well, but she knew how to read the atmosphere. She knew that Sima Yue and Shimin Feng had something to talk about, so she dragged Little Seven out. Yue, have a good rest. We'll visit you again later. Han Miaoshuang didn't forget to close the door when she went out. How is Teacher Ge? Sima Yue wanted to break the silence between the two of them. Don't talk. Shimin Feng walked over. Teacher Ge is fine. You are the one who is in trouble. I told you not to talk. Shimin Feng interrupted her and continued. Teacher Gu said that your situation is very troublesome. Even if you wake up, you can't use your brain and speak less. It's best if you don't talk at all. Just listen to me. Sima Yue looked at Shimin Feng, who was so nervous and blaming himself. She nodded her head, indicating that she would listen to him. But her being like this made Shimin Feng unable to speak the words in his heart. The two people fell into silence. After a good while, Shimin Feng opened his mouth. In the future, if you encounter this kind of situation again, you are not allowed to use your life to exchange for mine. You are my younger brother, my only family in my previous life, Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng glared at her mouth. The latter pursed her lips. This time, she really didn't say anything. I only have you as my family. Shimin Feng's eyes turned red again, but tears didn't fall. Sima Yue wanted to say something, but when she saw Shimin Feng staring at her, she swallowed her words. Elder sister, you've been protecting me since the beginning. This time, I even let you experience such a dangerous thing. In the future, it's my turn to protect you. Shimin Feng held her hand and said. Sima Yue nodded and smiled. She understood Shimin Feng's feelings, because she had experienced the feeling of watching him sacrifice his life for her. That kind of feeling was really unpleasant. Shimin Feng didn't talk to her for long before leaving, because he saw her weak appearance and wanted her to have a good rest and recuperate. After that, Sima Lai and the others came to see her, but they all asked her not to speak. They also left after a while, and told her to have a good rest. The next day, Gulang came as well. He first checked Sima Yue's body. How do you feel now? Gulang asked. Sometimes I feel a headache and I don't have much strength. Everything else is fine. Sima Yue replied. It's already good that you can come back. You're only feeling a little uncomfortable now. You're already considered lucky. Gulang snorted. Hee, I didn't know it would be like this at that time. Sima Yue smiled. Entering the chaotic world isn't something that everyone with exhausted consciousness can do. My chances are small. No matter what, it's good that you can come back. Gulang said. Do you know how you came back? Sima Yue shook her head. She still couldn't tell them about Emo Sha's existence. These people had a deep hatred towards the Devil Clan. If they knew and wanted to kill him, it would be difficult for her. After all, not everyone liked and worshipped Emo Sha like Old Man Devil. It's normal that you don't know. Gulang said. The other people who entered the chaotic world didn't wake up. You're an exception. Don't do this next time. These old bones of mine can't take the shock. Sima Yue nodded obediently. I've already sent a message to Old Su. He should be back soon. Gulang said. Alright, I should go back. I promised to discuss the illness with that group of brats. When I'm better, I'll definitely go with Feng, to thank them. Sima Yue said. Then you should get better soon. Gulang really didn't like to see her like this. He left after saying that. Sima Yue watched him leave. After thinking for a while, she took out 2 drops of soul fluid and drank it. Fortunately, she had this. She was able to recover to her current state in a day's time. Wu Lingyu stayed for 2 days after she woke up. Even in these 2 days, he would occasionally leave the courtyard as if someone was looking for him. Little Seven was a little afraid of Wu Lingyu. As long as Wu Lingyu was around, she definitely wouldn't come. Now that Wu Lingyu was gone, she stuck to Sima Yue all day. If she wasn't lying on her bed, she would be playing by herself in the house. In the end, even Han Miaoshuang was jealous. This guy, other than asking me to refine pills for him, he doesn't care about me at all. Han Miaoshuang snorted. She took an orange and peeled it. She broke off a piece and fed it to her while complaining. Little Seven, who was lying inside, saw this and opened her mouth to let Han Miaoshuang feed her. Han Miaoshuang had been with Little Seven for these few days, and had developed feelings for her. Although she was complaining, she didn't stop what she was doing. She broke off a piece and fed it to her. Little junior brother, how long are you going to rest for? Han Miaoshuang ate a piece. What's wrong? Xiao Xiao and the others are asking. Han Miaoshuang said. Those 2 guys, one complained that he couldn't sleep whenever he wanted after coming out. The other complained that it was too dirty outside and didn't want to come out. But he was worried about your condition, so he could only ask me. Those two guys, seriously, they didn't even come to see me. Sima Yue pouted. They came, but you weren't awake at that time. Now that they know that you're awake and fine, they didn't come. But every time I go back, they would still ask me about your condition. Han Miaoshuang said. Smelly, it's best that they don't come. Little Seven flipped over on the bed and said. Little Seven, you. Sima Yue wanted to teach her not to despise her seniors. But before she could finish, Little Seven cried out and jumped off the bed. What's wrong with you? Han Miaoshuang pulled Little Seven. That guy came back. Little Seven said. She broke free from Han Miaoshuang's hand and ran out. Just when Sima Yue and Han Miaoshuang were confused, Little Seven's scream came from outside. There was also an old man scolding and Su Jin's laughter. Chapter 663. Ayaya, let go of me. There are so many people here. Little Seven was grabbed by the collar by an old man with a white beard. She kept waving her hands. I haven't seen you in a few years, but your guts have grown quite a bit. You actually dare to leave the academy. The old man's voice was not as old as he looked. Let go of me, let go of me. Little Seven couldn't beat him, so she could only stare at him with her small eyes. This move is useless against me. Yuan Xiaojie tapped Little Seven's head with his other hand and said, Didn't I tell you not to leave the academy? Why are you still here? I've already evolved 3 times. I'm very powerful. Little Seven said unhappily. That won't do either. Yuan Xiaojie grabbed her and said, After I see that little guy, you'll come back with me. No, I want to be with him. Little Seven said firmly. Aren't you afraid that someone will take you away? You know, there are a lot of people who have ideas about you now. Yuan Xiaojie was amused by her determined little face. I'm not afraid. After staying here for so long, even the stones recognize me. I want to follow her. Little Seven said. Why are you so determined this time? Yuan Xiaojie raised his eyebrows. She said that staying by Yoyue's side might allow her to undergo a 4th evolution. Su Jin transmitted to Yuan Xiaojie. Oh. Yuan Xiaojie placed Little Seven down and transmitted his voice. You want to be with her, but she can't guarantee your safety. Even if it is dangerous, I have to try. Seven replied. Up to you then. Yuan Xiaojie put Little Seven down without hesitation this time. That straightforwardness made Little Seven stunned. She looked at Su Jin and blinked her eyes. He agreed so easily. Su Jin gave her a look that said he didn't know either, then followed Yuan Xiaojie into the house. Little Seven was still standing in the courtyard. She was very puzzled by Yuan Xiaojie's agreement, but she was more happy. This meant that Yuan Xiaojie would no longer restrict her to the academy. Su Jin didn't seem to care, but when he entered the room, he still asked Yuan Xiaojie for the reason. Why did you agree to her request? When I went out this time, I saw that the outside world was about to change. Many people were eyeing her. Although her current strength was not bad, in the eyes of the outside world, it was still not enough. If she can go through the 4th evolution, she will be much safer. Su Jin's footsteps paused. Had the outside world become so chaotic? The two of them entered Sima Yoyue's courtyard. Han Miaoshuang stood up and bowed to them. Dean Master. Sima Yue also guessed that the person who came in was the dean, but she thought that he would look similar to Old Man Devil and the others, who knew that he was an old man with white hair and a beard. Yuan Xiaojie seemed to have noticed her surprise at her appearance. He smiled and said, This looks more like a principal. His thoughts had been seen through. Greetings, Dean. She nodded towards the courtyard. Those two guys said a lot of good things about you to me. I don't think they would speak without thinking. Yuan Xiaojie said. So you have to get better quickly. I still have things for you to do. Ah. Sima Yue was confused by his words. What kind of jump was this? He wasn't here to visit her, but to find her for something? It was the first time they met, and he said that he had something for her to do. Why did she feel that there was something wrong with the way they opened the door? Ha ha. Yuan Xiaojie laughed when he saw her dizzy look. Then he took out a box and placed it beside the bed, saying, "This is a meeting gift from Master Uncle." Although he had left the sect, he was still a member of the sect in his heart. He looked at Sima Yue as if she was his junior. Little Seven shrank in from the outside. She was sneaky at first, but when she saw the box beside Sima Yue's bed, she screamed and wanted to rush over. But when she passed by Yuan Xiaojie, he picked her up. "That's my meeting gift for you, Yue. Don't even think about it." Little Seven struggled and drooled at the sight of the box. "You're bad. I thought about it for a long time and you didn't give it to me. That thing is useless to you." Yuan Xiaojie didn't let go of her. "But it's delicious," Little Seven protested. "It's a waste for you to eat it," Yuan Xiaojie said. "Keep that thing away. Don't let her spoil it." Sima Yue looked at the comical scene and couldn't help but laugh. She kept the thing in her spirit pagoda. Once the thing entered her spirit pagoda, she knew what it was. She was very surprised, but she didn't have much use for it now. Yuan Xiaojie gave her a spirit herb that could heal the soul. This herb was very effective in healing the soul, and was regarded as the most precious among all spirit herbs. If she didn't have the spirit fluid, this would be the most precious spirit herb she had. But since she didn't open it in front of them, she continued to pretend that she didn't know what it was. "Principal, you said you had something to do with me just now? It's not urgent. We'll talk about it when you've recovered and returned to the academy," Yuan Xiaojie said. "All right, I've given you the gift. It's time to return to the academy. Old Su, come back with me. I should check on your homework." "Where's Little Seven?" "I'm not going back. I want to be with little Yu. Little Seven continued to struggle. This time, she managed to break free. Once she escaped from Yuan Xiaojie's demonic grasp, she ran towards Sima Yue and pouted her little mouth, ignoring him. Yuan Xiaojie smiled and left with a bitter Su Jin. Su Jin looked at Little Seven enviously. If only he didn't have to go back. Once they left, Little Seven immediately looked at Sima Yue with shining eyes. Sima Yue patted Little Seven's head and said, "This was given to me by the courtyard, and it's useless to you. But it's the only thing that tastes good," Little Seven said. "Master, this spirit herb still has its roots in soil. It can be planted," Little Spirit suddenly transmitted to her. "Then plant it," Sima Yue instructed. Then she said to Little Seven, "I can give you a little, but I can't let you eat it all." "Okay." Little Seven smiled and nodded. Sima Yue took out the box and opened it. She saw a little herb with a few stems and leaves lying inside. She thought for a while and plucked all the stems and leaves. Only the stems and roots were left. Then she gave the stems and leaves to Little Seven. You're the best." Little Seven took the spirit herb and kissed her on the face. Then she ran out quickly. Han Miaoshuang saw that Sima Yue gave most of it to Little Seven and said reproachfully, "Even if you like her, you have to give it to her. Don't always spoil her." "She likes it." Sima Yue smiled. She didn't mind. She kept the spirit herb and put it back. Little Spirit took it and planted it. The roots of the spirit herb were well preserved. It could grow stems and leaves after planting. That was why she could be so generous and give it to Little Seven to play with. But Han Miaoshuang didn't know. Seeing her like this, she shook her head helplessly. Chapter 664. Sima Yue had been recuperating for a few days. With the help of the soul fluid, she had recovered quite a bit. She no longer needed to be pinned down by them. She couldn't figure it out. Her soul was clearly injured, so why didn't they allow her to use the lullaby and force her to stay inside? Thinking about how she had been lying on the bed for so long, she roared in her heart more than once. This is not scientific. After a week, she could finally lie down. She felt that if she continued lying down, she would really become moldy. Today, with Shiman Feng's support, she finally stepped out of the room and walked into the courtyard. The air outside is still fresh. She took a deep breath and felt much more satisfied. "You said that we wouldn't let you out, but look at you. You're already panting after taking a few steps. I told you to lie down for 2 more days, but you didn't listen." Shimin Feng said discontentedly. Feng if I continue to lie down, I will grow hair, do you know? Sima Yue laid down on the chaise lounge in the courtyard, and Shimin Feng sat down beside her. Can humans grow hair? You are not a monster. Shimin Feng helplessly covered Sima Yue with a blanket. Because her soul was injured, she was especially afraid of the cold, so Shimin Feng specially prepared a blanket for her. Oh right, I haven't seen Xiangyi recently? Sima Yue asked. Shimin Feng's hand slightly paused and said in a deep voice. She had something to do and left. Is it because you were ambushed last time? Sima Yue narrowed her eyes and asked casually. Shimin Feng was silent for a while, but still answered honestly. Yes. Looks like you know who did it? Yes. Well, now that we know who did it, let's get back at them. Sima Yue curled up in the blanket. We are not people who can be bullied. If you provoke them, I'll let Little Rock lead the bird clan to crush them. I guarantee that there will be feathers all over the ground. Shimin Feng speechlessly glared at her. You're still hiding here. That's why we shouldn't let them off so easily. Sima Yue thought about how she almost lost her brother and Feng, or almost lost her. She was furious and wanted to kill those people herself. Don't worry, I won't spare those people. Shimin Feng gnashed his teeth and said, Feng, have you ever thought of building your own force? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Build a force of my own. That's right. Although you were rescued from the Kong Valley, you didn't join the Kong Valley. You can't be considered a proper member of the Kong Valley. Sima Yue said. Besides, we have to deal with more than one or two enemies. We can't defeat them alone. That's right. Whether it's the Zhongzheng clan or the Yinyang Palace, or even the Sage Pavilion behind them, which one of them isn't powerful? Cough cough. Sima Yue coughed a few times and waited for her to calm down before continuing. Although I have Little Rock and am also the junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley, we can't involve them in our personal vengeance. The Bird Clan and the Divine Devil Valley have no obligation to help us take revenge. So the best way is to build our own force. Actually, I've thought of this as well. But it's too difficult to build a force. First of all, we don't have enough resources. So it's just an idea. Shimin Feng said. If we want to build a force, it's not something that can be done in a day. But it's not like we don't have a way. Sima Yue said. A force needs alchemists, armament masters, array masters and beast tamers the most. Other than armament masters, I can take a look at the rest. With the spirit pagoda, these aren't a problem. As for armament masters, since I'm free now, I'll study it when I have time. Fatty said that it's not difficult. Then have you ever thought of letting them join in? Shimin Feng asked. Sima Yue shook her head. I want to use this force for revenge. If they join in, I'm afraid that they'll get into trouble. I won't ask them to join, but I won't hide it from them either. Actually, it's better if they join us. That way, we won't be lacking in these occupation masters. Shimin Feng said. Although I think so too, but, Sai, let's ask them for their opinion. Sima Yue said. Other than occupation masters, we don't have anything else. Shimin Feng said. Especially the most important resource for a sect, the Ormine. We don't even have it. Now that all the Ormines have been taken over by various sects, it's easier said than done to find another Ormine. Sima Yue wasn't anxious and said, Have you forgotten that I have another identity? Seeker Spirit Master? That's right. She said confidently. So what if all the Ormines have been taken over? We'll just find an Ormine that no one has discovered yet. Seeing that Shimin Feng was stunned and obviously didn't believe her, she took out a book and flipped to the first page for him to see. Soul Seeking the Source. Shimin Feng saw the title of the book and exclaimed softly. With this, why can't your sister become a Seeker Spirit Master? Haha kid, don't look down on your sister, understand? She kept the book and reached out to poke his forehead. Moreover, even if I can't do it, we can find third MO. What's there to worry about? But we can't find an Ormine in such a short time. Shimin Feng said. Even if you can find it in the future, there must be people who are willing to join our force. But this is a newly established force. How can we let others join us? How can we make them work for us wholeheartedly? Sima Yue voiced out Shimin Feng's worries. Yes. Shimin Feng nodded. Establishing a force is different from our previous clan. The people in the clan will naturally be willing to work hard for the clan, but those people might not. Even if we give them pills and spiritual weapons to support them, they might still drop the ball when the time comes. So we can't use ordinary people. Sima Yue smiled. Can't use ordinary people? Shimin Feng was confused by his own words. If he understood what she meant before, he didn't understand what she meant now. Yes, if we can't use ordinary people, then we'll use extraordinary people. Sima Yue smiled. Who are the extraordinary people? Those who want to die but don't want to. As long as they can live, they will do whatever it takes. And we are the condition for them to live. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng immediately understood what she meant. You want to look for those fugitives? That's right. Sima Yue nodded. Those fugitives are capable if they can survive. Even if they can't fight against 10 people, they can fight against 4, 5, 6, or 7 people. Your idea is good, but if we want these people, firstly, they might not be willing. Secondly, their old enemies will become our hidden danger. Happy reading every day. Chapter 665. Sima Yue had also thought about the 2 points mentioned by Shimin Feng. He was right. Since these people were outlaws, it was not easy to get them to join her force. Not to mention that if she accepted them, she would have to pay for what they did in the past. Let's leave this matter to the future. She saw Shimin Feng frown and said, Actually, it's not like there's no way to solve this problem. Have you thought of a solution? Shimin Feng looked at her expectantly. In the past, whenever he encountered a problem, he would tell her and she would always be able to come up with a solution quickly. It would be great if we could expand our forces so much that no one would dare to challenge us. Sima Yue said. Shimin Feng's eyes lit up as he smiled and said, You still have a way. As long as they developed their forces to the point where others would not dare to touch them easily, even if they knew that their enemies were here, who would dare to come and cause trouble? When the time came, they would step forward to mediate, and those old grudges would be resolved. If he really couldn't resolve it, then he would just go overboard. In any case, you might dare to hunt down one person, but would you dare to hunt down the entire force? Of course, who's older? Sima Yue said proudly. Yes, you're the boss. Shimin Feng smiled and said. Since we've decided, then we still have to prepare resources in the early stages. Otherwise, when those people come, we won't have anything for them to cultivate with. Yes, we can plan this out first. Sima Yue said. I'm still a student of the academy, so I don't have much time. I'll have to rely on you for the preparation and the rest. Don't worry, I will take care of these things. Shimin Feng said. I've always been assured of your mobility. Sima Yue reached out and patted Shimin Feng's head, just like in the past. However, it's best to keep this matter a secret, so the Kong Valley. I know how to tell them. But I'm afraid Xiang Yi won't be so easy to convince. Shimin Feng said. Xiang Yi is a good girl. What do you think of her? If you're interested, we'll marry her. Although our Shimin clan only has you, but just based on this point of little Peng, you are more than enough to match the young miss of Kong Valley. If you're not interested in her, you should make it clear as soon as possible so that she won't waste her time with you. Sima Yue looked at him meaningfully. I understand. Shimin Feng said. What do you mean by, understand? Do you understand your own feelings, or do you understand what I'm saying? Sima Yue beamed. Tell me, do you like me? Sis, why are you asking this? We are talking about establishing a force. Shimin Feng said awkwardly. Of course I'm concerned about you. Sima Yue retracted her hand and said. You are the only one left in the Shimin clan. You have to bear the heavy responsibility of carrying on the family line. It would be best to give birth to a nest of children, and then they would give birth to another nest of children, and the sooner Shimin Feng's family develops, the better. Sis, what happened that year really wasn't your fault. Don't blame yourself too much. Shimin Feng suddenly said. The smile on Sima Yue's face slowly disappeared. She leaned back on the chair and let the sun shine on her face. She closed her eyes and tears suddenly fell. If it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for me. She was still brooding over what happened that year, and it was impossible for her to truly let it go. Even if all her enemies were dealt with, and the Zhongzheng clan and Yinyang Palace were destroyed, she still wouldn't be able to let it go, because those who passed away would never come back. Her peaceful and beautiful life would never come back. Sis, if father and mother knew that you always blame yourself, even if they are in the ghost realm, they would be worried. Shimin Feng said. Sima Yue suddenly opened her eyes and looked straight at Shimin Feng. That gaze made the latter a little scared. Why are you looking at me like that? Ghost realm, you just said the ghost realm. Sima Yue said. After a person dies, their soul will enter the ghost realm. Then father and mother also went to the ghost realm? Could they have survived? This isn't quite possible, Shimin Feng said uncertainly. Doesn't that mean it's possible? Sima Yue said. Maybe, Shimin Feng said. We don't know much about the ghost realm. We don't know if a soul can survive there. We also don't know if a person can go there if they are not dead. After Shimin Feng said that, Sima Yue's eyes dimmed a little. She didn't say anything else. Just then, there was a movement at the entrance of the courtyard. The two of them looked up and saw Kong Sengyi walking in from outside. Yue, are you feeling better? Kong Sengyi walked over and put his face in front of Sima Yue. He looked at her carefully and said, Your face is so pale, and your eyes are so lifeless. Why haven't you recovered after such a long time? It's the most troublesome for us cultivators to injure our soul. Luckily, it's not impossible to recover, Sima Yue said. Are you comforting me? Even if you say that, I still feel very guilty. If it wasn't for us, Feng wouldn't have broken the seal. If he didn't fall into such a dangerous situation, you wouldn't have exhausted your consciousness and entered the chaotic world, Kong Sengyi said with self-blame. Feng chose to break the seal. You don't have to blame yourself, Sima Yue said. Besides, aren't we all fine? She saw Shimin Feng's reaction just now. She knew him so well. How could she not know what he was thinking? Since they were all family in the future, and the matter of the seal was decided by Shimin Feng himself, how could she blame him? Kong Sengyi didn't think so. She cupped her fist and said seriously, In the future, Xiang Yi's life is your life. Whatever you want me to do, as long as it doesn't hurt the Kong Valley, Xiang Yi will do it. Don't say that. If you don't do it, Feng, or will hate me to death. We'll be family in the future, Sima Yue teased. What nonsense are you talking about? Kong Sengyi glared at Sima Yue. What, you don't want to be family with me and Feng? Or Feng won't hate me, Sima Yue said and looked at Shimin Feng. I wanted to let Feng propose to the Kong Valley when the time is right. It seems like you're not willing. Feng, since Xiang Yi isn't willing, don't force her. I'm not unwilling, Kong Sengyi quickly denied. That means you're willing. Sima Yue laughed. Seeing Kong Sengyi's red face, she laughed even more happily. Yue, if you continue to tease me, I'll ignore you in the future. Kong Sengyi was embarrassed by her words and threatened. You can ignore me? You have to call me sister in the future. If you ignore me, don't you want to follow Feng? Shimin Feng saw that Kong Sengyi wanted to dig a hole in the ground after hearing Sima Yue's words. He stood up and carried Sima Yue, saying, You've been out for so long today. It's time to go back. Sima Yue nestled in Shimin Feng's arms. Feng, don't forget sister when you have a wife in the future. Happy reading every day. Chapter 666. Kong Sengyi blushed when he heard Sima Yue's words. She didn't expect that Shimin Feng would help her out. Thinking of what Sima Yue said, she felt that she didn't know how to face him. She thought to herself that she should leave first, but she had something to ask of him, so she could only wait in the courtyard with a red face. Shimin Feng carried Sima Yue to the bed and covered her with a blanket. I know that Xiang Yi is looking for you. Go ahead, Sima Yue said to Shimin Feng after lying down. Teasing was just teasing. Kong Xiangyi, who had left for so long to investigate that matter, must have brought back some news that she needed to discuss with Shimin Feng. Shimin Feng had also guessed it. He tucked her in and warned, "Lie down properly. If you want to go out, I'll take you out to get some sun tomorrow." "Okay," Sima Yue replied. Shimin Feng went out, and when he opened the door he heard her say, "If you want to go out, take little Peng with you." "All right." Shimin Feng knew that if he wanted to bring little Rock along, there would definitely be a bunch of old birds following him, or he might even be able to find some local bird clan to accompany him. She was worried about him. She had guessed that the person who had injured them back then was quite powerful. She knew that they were going to take revenge. Even if they couldn't completely eradicate the other party, they would at least make a big move that would make the other party spit out a mouthful of blood. Little Peng didn't need to personally go to the battlefield, but the same couldn't be said for the people around him to protect their master. Especially Sima Yoyue's accident this time. It was all because she forced Shimin Feng to remove the seal. Therefore, little Peng and the others also wanted to avenge Sima Yoyue. Sima Yoyue understood what little Peng and the others were thinking. That was why she said those words. She thought of the worried look in Shimin Feng's eyes before he left and sighed faintly. Alas, it's really troublesome to injure the soul and divine sense. She wasn't someone who could calm down easily. Now that she had to lie down like this every day, she was really suffering. Shimin Feng came to the courtyard. When Kong Sengyi saw him, the blush that had just been pushed down quietly reappeared. "She's just bored these days, so she's joking with you." Shimin Feng saw her like this and subconsciously explained, "Then what do you think?" Although Kong Sengyi's face was very hot, he still firmly stared at Shimin Feng's eyes. There were only the two of them, and he understood her thoughts. Naturally, she would want to get a response. He had her in his heart. After so many years of feelings, he had finally reciprocated. But if she didn't have him, what would he do? Give up? No. She liked him, so she wouldn't give up easily. If he really didn't have her in his heart, then she would always be by his side, and let him only have her in his eyes. She would get what she wanted one day, right? Although she had already mentally prepared herself, her heart still couldn't help but speed up. Would he answer her? Or avoid it like before? Unexpectedly, Shimin Feng stretched out his hand and gently tucked her hair that was blown up by the wind behind her ear. Then he said, "My current status is naturally not worthy of you." Kong Sengyi's heart that was originally jumping because of his action suddenly fell to the bottom. It was still the same answer, but he had just tucked her hair, which was an improvement compared to before. She still wanted to encourage herself in her heart, but Shimin Feng's voice sounded again. Shimin Feng took back his hand and said, "If I want to be with you, naturally I have to have a status that is worthy of you. But this may take a long time. Are you willing to wait?" Her heart that had just sunk to the bottom suddenly floated up. Looking at Shimin Feng's serious expression, she suddenly cried tears of joy. She hugged him and cried out in surprise, "I'm willing to wait for you. No matter how long it takes, I'll wait for you. Ah Feng, I'm so happy. I'm really so happy. I thought that you didn't have me in your heart. What should I do? I'm so happy that I'm about to die." Kong Sengyi was used to being arrogant and despotic in front of outsiders. Kong Sengyi was used to seeing him as the master by his side. Seeing this excited little woman who didn't know what to do, his usually cold face couldn't help but soften a lot. Cough cough. Jingwen, who came in from outside, saw the two people in the courtyard and coughed twice. Kong Sengyi immediately let go of Shimin Feng. She wanted to stick to Shimin Feng, but she knew that he didn't like to be like this in front of others. "You two are here whispering sweet nothings to each other. Have you said anything serious?" Jingwen walked over and casually asked. Seeing that the two of them were somewhat unnatural, he knew that they definitely didn't say anything. He knew it. "Jingwen, you're here?" Sima Yoyue's voice came from the house. She still had that kind of weak appearance. "Since you're back, why don't you come in and chat with me?" "Sure." Jingwen excitedly walked into the house. After taking a few steps, he didn't forget to turn back and say to the two of them, "Since you two want to be ching-ching, I'll say something serious first. You already know that they want to whisper sweet nothings to each other. Hurry up and come in." Sima Yue shouted from inside the house. Aya, aren't I here now? Jingwen pushed open the door and went in. He didn't close the door. Although he wasn't here often these days, his relationship with Sima Yue had improved a lot. When that **** came back from the academy, she didn't know who Jingwen was. But seeing him take Shiminfeng's pulse, she guessed that he should be a doctor. Later on, when she asked him to help her, it was indeed confirmed. Later on, when she woke up, she found out that he was the one Kong Sengyi said that the heart protection pill was effective for Feng. And the heart protection pill was made by him personally. So he was also an alchemist. At first, she thought that Jingwen was from the Kong Valley. Later on, she found out that he was just a friend of Shimin Feng and Kong Sengyi, the kind that had a good relationship. Since he was her brother's good friend, she also treated him as a friend. So when she woke up and Jingwen came to see her, she would talk about medicine or alchemy with him. Jingwen originally admired her a lot, but after interacting with her a few times, he admired her even more. Because he didn't know that Sima Yue was a girl, he often went to chat with her. And Shimin Feng couldn't say it out loud, so he told him not to close the door every time he went into the house. Jingwen felt that his request was a bit strange, but he still agreed. Now that he heard Sima Yue call him in for a chat, he naturally ran over. After being teased again, Kong Sengyi was really embarrassed. Shimin Feng looked at Sima Yue's door and said lightly, "Let's talk outside." When it came to serious matters, Kong Sengyi changed into her usual self, nodded and followed him out. They left Sima Yue's courtyard and came to a place where there was no one. Shimin Feng then asked, "What did you find out this time?" Chapter 667. Kong Sengyi handed over the information he had found to Shimin Feng and said, "At that time, other than Lanfang sect, there were also people from 10,000 Red Cloud sect who attacked us. How did these two sects get together?" Shimin Feng looked at the information in his hands and was a little surprised. "Are you surprised?" Kong Sengyi said. "On the surface, the Thousand Cloud sect seems to be on good terms with our Kong Valley. Who would have thought that they would have such intentions towards us behind our backs? I think they're working together because of the ore vein we found last time. I didn't think that the matter of the mine would be leaked out. I'm afraid that the Kong Valley will have more trouble in the future," Shimin Feng said. "Have you found out who leaked the news of our whereabouts in the mine?" "We've already found out. Father and the others have dealt with him," Kong Sengyi said. "The mineral vein that we discovered is indeed enviable, but if anyone wants to touch us, it won't be that easy. This time, we lost because we weren't prepared. We even put you and Yue in danger. Now that we're prepared, it won't be so easy for them to succeed. Aside from this, what else did you come here for today?" Shimin Feng asked. "Yes," Kong Sengyi said. "We found out that the young lord of the Lanfang sect will be leaving the sect today. Are you interested in eliminating him? Was he also one of the people who surrounded us? Lanfang sect is led by him. When are we leaving?" "Now. What's the rush? We are going to set up an ambush in advance. The people from Lanfang sect are about to set off." "All right, give me a moment." Shimin Feng wanted to look for Little Rock, but Sima Yue had instructed him to bring him along if he wanted to leave. But before he could take 2 steps, he saw Little Rock leading a group of people over. "You said that you will definitely leave. We will go with you," Little Rock said. Shimin Feng was surprised to see the people beside Little Rock. Weren't they in the Spirit Pagoda? How did they come out? Could it be that the Spirit Pagoda was exposed in front of Jingwen? Jingwen only stayed in the house for a while before he was chased away by Yu. Little Peng explained. "All right, follow me. Let's go." Kong Sengyi took out a temporary formation and activated it on the ground. Then he led the group out of Tianfu City. Sima Yue couldn't feel the movements outside, but she guessed that Shimin Feng and the others had already left. Lying on the bed, she thought about what Jingwen had just told her. He said, "Yue, hurry up and get better. This way, we can go to the alchemist conference in Fengli City together." She did not have much interest in this alchemy conference, But the words that he said after that made her a little interested. It's just an alchemy assembly. What are you so excited about? Of course I'm excited. This time, the Fenglu City's Alchemist Assembly will hold a competition. I heard that many alchemy geniuses will participate. Jingwen was very excited when he said this. I don't know those people, so I'm not interested. Sima Yue yawned. I heard that many alchemists from the inner regions are also coming. Jingwen said. Why are you so excited about the inner circle coming? Don't tell me they aren't people with one nose and two ears? This is something you don't understand. Jingwen said mysteriously. The inner circle's alchemy techniques are different from ours. If we participate, we can watch them refine pills. Oh. Sima Yue thought that he was excited about something. She didn't think that he was just curious about alchemy techniques. It's a pity that even if you see it a few times, as long as no one teaches you the principles, you won't be able to learn it. You just say oh, and that's it? Jingwen was very dissatisfied with Sima Yue's reaction. If it was before, I might have gone to join in the fun. But now, I feel that the most important thing for me is to increase my strength. Sima Yue said. You can slowly increase your strength, but this alchemist assembly doesn't happen every day, especially on such a large scale. It might not even happen once in a few decades. Oh, I'm still young. I can wait until the next time. Sima Yue said. Besides, I'm now a student of the academy. I can't go just because I want to. The Heavenly Sect also wants to participate. Jingwen said. Sima Yue was a little interested. She looked up at him and said, You know a lot. Of course. Jingwen said proudly. Not only do I know that the Heavenly Sect will be going this time, I also know that they have participated before and lost. But they seem to place a lot of importance on this assembly. I think they have something against someone. Sima Yue pondered in her heart. Could this be what Yuan Xiaojie wanted her to do? Let her participate, and then come back with a ranking. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that it was possible. But it might not be so, so she didn't show it on her face. Then when will the assembly be held? There's still a year. Jingwen said, so if you want to participate, you have to get better within a year. As alchemists, our consciousness is the most important. But it's the most troublesome to recover from an injury to the consciousness. It also takes a long time. Your injury is so serious. If you want to fully recover, I'm afraid it will take you a year and a half. This can't be rushed. Sima Yue said now. But you're right. You're still so young. Even if you participate next time, your age should still be within the range. Jingwen comforted her. There's an age limit? Of course there is. This is the industry's rule. The people who participate in the alchemy assembly may be of all ages. But the people who participate in the competition are only under 200 years old. Jingwen said. My age this time is just right. If I wait for the next time, I will be over the age limit. Sima Yue looked at Jingwen up and down. Then she faintly spat out a sentence. So you're not talking about old monsters? Old monsters? Did he look that old? Sima Yue laid on the bed and thought about whether or not this was what Yuan Xiaojie was talking about. But she couldn't think of an answer. She was too lazy to think about it. Little Seven ran in from outside, and she played with her for a while. Little Seven, you seem to be very afraid of Principal Yuan? When Little Seven heard Yue mention Yuan Xiaojie, she pouted and said, I can't beat him. He always locks me in a black room. I don't like black rooms. He also doesn't allow me to leave the academy. Until now, a part of her body was still in that black room. But she didn't plan to say this out loud. She didn't want Yue to think that she was a monster. Locked in a black room? Could it be that this principal also abused children? This shouldn't be. Master and martial uncle didn't say that he had such a hobby. Then was he protecting Little Seven? Could it be that Little Seven was in danger outside? Although she didn't know what Little Seven was, but since Principal Yuan didn't allow her to leave the academy, it should be very dangerous outside. But why did he allow Little Seven to follow her outside? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.